What's good, YouTube? What is going on? Friday night, first day of December 2023. Another Friday night sports talk. We got a bunch of things to talk about, especially in the last week's happenings, and then this coming week's happenings. There's actually a good game going on right now. College football, big game for the Pac-10 title. We got Oregon against Washington, which I am now going to miss the fourth quarter because I am here, and of course, my co-hosts are late. But yeah, we're gonna get into it real quick. Today, real quick, we're gonna be talking about some boxing, NFL, college football. I'm gonna strictly go that. And oh yeah, when it's December 1st, that means the day before the last day of November is my main man Socrates Palmer, my co-host, one of my best friends in the whole wide world. It was his birthday yesterday, and today we're gonna wish him a happy belated birthday and many, many more. As you see on the screen right now, is Socrates, a younger Socrates, is probably 10 years old, with Tito Trinidad, as you see there. And we're going to have some fun with it today with Soc. We're just going to wait for him to get on. I see D Free is copped on. Give me 1 second, D Free. Let me go to the chat real quick. William Old School, what is good, bro? Thanks for coming through. Salute. Opulent LD TV up in here. What is good? Salute. My man A1 Hoop Zone up in here. Was good. Salute. And as you come through, we'll acknowledge the people as they come through. My man D Free. What is good, D Free?
What's good?
Chilling. We're waiting for the birthday boy who'll probably be late to his own funeral. So
yeah, Carlton always late.
Yeah, Carlton. Holy shit, my man Carlton. We're going to get to that in a minute when he gets on. What did A1 say? What did A1 say? That boy looks like a Walmart version of Genuine. Yo, Mr. Shelton, what's good? Salute. My man, Mr. Shelton. Oh, I can't do it like he does it. Oh, of course, Drew Titan, the way he does it. Dude looks like the leader of the biker boy. Yo, you're messed up, man. Leave your man Sock alone. We don't even barely know what you look like to really get at you. But yeah, so we'll get at him. I'm gonna show you a good picture of two of the darkest brothers I ever known in my life. My man Sock with Antonio Tarver.
No, what's up with the mustache?
Yo, the stash is legit. Well, we're gonna wait till he crops on so he can see it. He's gonna start cracking up. But I got a few pictures of him back in the day with some of the fighters because he's been around and he's done a lot of press coverage with these fighters. He's met a lot of people and stuff. Let's see. Hold on, that's him right now. Eco, what's good, bro?
Good evening.
What's going on? We were just talking about that, we know it was your birthday yesterday, and we was going to wish you a happy birthday. And I was just going over, we led off with this picture right here. You and Tito back in the day.
It's rained a lot since then.
And then we went into two of the darkest brothers I know.
You can tell Tom is black as shit. Because look at me.
Where's my man BC at? Is he here?
Oh, no, BC not in the chat.
That's a twin of my man Brian Colbert. Yo, Sock, that stash, I've never seen a better stash than that, bro. Damn.
It's retro, yeah. Wow. That's a TBT. It was Friday, so it's a Flashback Friday.
Sock got that super trooper stash.
That's right.
That picture was that's like 2011, 2012, I think. That's like 10 years ago.
It was, I'll tell you when that was. That was Glenn Johnson versus Carl Froch in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And Carver was doing TV at the time.
Nice.
So whenever the Super Sex was.
Sock looks like a father of four in the Trinidad photo.
And that's when Sock was really getting it in. I was practicing for kids. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so real quick, we said what we're gonna do is today. We said we got some topics we're gonna go over from last week, leading into the upcoming games that's gonna happen this week and fights this week. Strictly, we're gonna go boxing, NFL, college football. We got a little bit of bullet points, so we'll go into it. Last week we kind of recapped a little bit. I think we recapped with BVO and D Free's channel, and we recapped the Andrade versus Benavidez fight. So we're gonna start with that and give kind of
D Free
a breakdown. What's up?
You hitting the vape?
Huh?
Free?
Yeah, I'm in the vape.
Okay, you look like the coach for the Dolphins. He be hitting the vape on the low, on the sidelines. Daniels.
So we're gonna go into Benavidez and Andrade. We'll give a quick recap. Obviously, Benavidez, he did what he had to do. He got him out of there in 6, I believe it was 6th round. And Andrade looked like, he came to fight. He gave a good effort, but that effort wasn't good enough for the monster. So what's your take on it, Sock? We'll lead off with you.
I mean, it was kind of like what I expected. Andrade gave a gallant effort, but at this stage in his career, like I said, he's really a junior middleweight. And he has only been at 68 for a cup of coffee. He kind of like ballooned up during the pandemic. He just didn't have enough firepower to keep off a guy that you need some punching power for you to respect, and I think we saw the evolution of Benavidez. Benavidez is getting better, each time out, and he's at the peak of his athletic career right now, in his prime rather. So it's a tough out. Whoever beats Benavidez is going to be a special fighter.
Okay. D Free.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much what I expected. I didn't expect the knockout, but I knew that Andrade was going to be overmatched. He's 35 years old. Benavidez is 26. Benavidez he has more of a gas tank. He throws a wide variety of punches. He throws a lot of punches. What the biggest takeaway from the fight was David Benavidez's defense. I saw a lot of defense from David Benavidez that I didn't usually see. He did some head movement. He had some upper body movement, and I usually don't see that from David Benavidez. He usually takes shots on the guard or takes shots on the chin and just keep coming. But he actually had some head movement. I don't know if he was working on his head movement and his upper body movement to get ready for Canelo Alvarez, if that fight is ever made, or if he just decided to work on his defense. But I like what I see as far as his defense. He look like he's improving. He still got a ways to go as far as defense-wise, but he does look like he's improving.
Yeah, very much. I mean, and one thing I like to see, especially in big fights like that, especially from a guy that got his first opportunity, and I believe this is Benavidez. That was Benavidez's first pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They both came in, to show out, and that's what I mean. As fans, that's what you like to see if you're spending money on these pay-per-views, and they both came in there trying to win. It was not a, Canelo versus Charlo. They both came in there, and Benavidez looked really good. And I agree with D Free. I think the defense did improve, but it can get better. I know, you know what I'm saying? So Andrade came in. The first 2 rounds looked good. The first round I thought was kind of like a draw. Like, nobody calls it a draw. So maybe you give that to Andrade. Second round, I thought Andrade won. And then after that, I think Benavidez took off. Now the question is, where does, we don't know where Andrade's going to go, but where does Benavidez go from here? I mean, the obvious thing is, Canelo. Does Canelo finally take the fight?
I don't know. I hope he does, but I don't know if he will take the fight. Because we know Canelo's been avoiding David Benavidez for a while now. The one thing that I say that might discourage this fight from happening is the pay-per-view numbers, because it's reported that they only did like 60,000.
Wow.
And we all know Canelo. He's a pay-per-view attraction. Now his pay-per-views hasn't been doing very great as of late. But he did do big numbers with Jermall, and he did big numbers with the Caleb Plant fight, but as far as besides those two fights, his numbers ain't been as what it used to be. I don't know if they're going to pick up because of David Benavidez. We got the two Mexican. I mean, both of them are Mexican, and we know Mexican is one of the biggest fan bases outside of African American. So it might pick up because David Benavidez has a lot of American fans as well as Mexican fans. The same thing for Canelo. They both got American fans as well as Mexican fans. So I think that it would do good pay-per-view numbers, but I don't know because it could be just because it was around the holidays and a lot of people were still out traveling. They haven't got back home to their they haven't got back from their visiting their family for the holidays. So it could be that, but I don't know. I was surprised to see that it only did 60,000.
That's extremely low. Mm-hmm.
That's the elephant in the room. There's a rumor out there that people are kind of illegally streaming these fights. I don't know if it's true or not. So, piracy might be a factor in these numbers. And Ngannou and Fury, had an embarrassing number as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has to be, taken into account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a convenient excuse for Canelo, of course. It's, he could say he's not the draw that Benavidez, that he needs. But I think the fight will happen. I don't think it's going to happen, though, when we want it. I think it's going to happen when,
Yeah.
I agree, A1 Hoop.
What's up?
Thomas dropped the cash app.
Yeah, well, some people do that, as he's just suggesting, because,
okay.
For your birthday, people may want to drop you something. So if you got a cash, I'll drop it in the chat.
Damn, I left my... You going past the collection plate?
I think David might be forced to go to the Morrell fight. Because who else is out there? I don't think they're going to make the Jermall fight. I think Jermall next fight, it should be Caleb Plant, but I could see them probably throwing him in there with Canelo Alvarez. So I think the only other fight that's on the table for David Benavidez right now at 68 is David Morrell, unless Bivol comes down to 68 and try to force that fight.
Well, I don't think Benavidez would have a problem going up to 75, and then it would almost be like a slap in the face to Canelo if he's able to beat Bivol and say, hey, I did what you couldn't do. And I do think if that fight happens, I think Bivol can't. I think Benavidez' style would be bad business for Bivol.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Bivol could hurt Benavidez. Benavidez has been dropped before. We've seen it. But I think it's more like off balance. I think, like D. Free had said, Benavidez is a more polished fighter now. As far as him and Morrell, they're both with Samson Lukowicz. So I don't know if Samson's been around a long time. He's one of the smartest guys in the business. I don't think he's going to put his two best guys until it's the biggest fight possible. I think they could keep Morrell busy with other fights. I don't see that happening right now. Maybe with Benavidez and Charlo, who fought in the undercard. I could see that as a possibility. But Bivol is a option.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an intriguing fight.
I think Charlo's looking. There might be a chance that Charlo ends up with Canelo. I think Benavidez said that he would like to spoil that and fight Charlo instead, but I don't think Charlo, because technically Charlo will move up, and technically he already did. He came in even overweight for the catch weight.
Right.
So he'll be moving up to fight Benavidez. And Benavidez said he'll take that fight just to spoil it, so that Canelo doesn't get the fight. So then there's also rumor Canelo may fight Munguia.
Yeah. D. Free. Last week I mentioned that, and I also heard another channel mention Munguia as an opponent. I thought that was like far fetched.
I thought so too, because they're different.
Yeah, and Canelo and Oscar are not on the best of terms, but I think D had pointed out that Munguia and Canelo are friends, but I guess that would totally go against Canelo not fighting Mexicans, right? Because
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
He's kind of Mexican.
Yeah.
He's more Mexican than
Kinda.
Benavidez.
Yeah, way
Because
more. Yeah,
Benavidez is Ecuadorian. His mom is Ecuadorian, so um, that is an intriguing matchup. Uh, let me see. Berlanga should step up and fight Munguia. I think that's a great fight,
that's
Brian.
a great fight. Yeah,
I think
but
that's a fight that
are
both
they in
guys
the
need.
same promotion?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
No.
Berlanga's
if he
with
goes,
Eddie Hearn.
yeah,
Right.
if he goes and fight McGear, that whole I'm not fighting Mexicans go out the window. Now
Absolutely.
you're just avoiding David Benavidez.
It's
Yeah.
a joke.
You're just avoiding David Benavidez.
And the longer Canelo waits, I think the worse it is because I think I still think Canelo has a chance to beat Benavidez if they fought within the next 8 months. Because I think he's got the one thing that Benavidez would have to respect, and that's punching power and hand speed. The longer he waits, the better Benavidez gets, and the older Canelo gets.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way,
I say that all the time.
by the way, that's my boy.
You got a problem. You got a problem moving up in the ranks. You want to take care of that problem early. Don't let them get no experience.
Right. And if you're gonna floss with all the belts, you got to step up and defend them, right?
Yeah.
Either that or now the ball is kind of in the WBC's court, right?
Well, I thought I just saw something that they were going to extend it again.
Of course they are. Because
Yeah,
why would you want to
extend it
lose
and
that
they're not
cash
gonna,
cow?
Yeah, so Suleiman already. So that means tomorrow, when you're on with Pedro tomorrow, you have to, get at Suleiman on WBC Live, right? Because it's his TV.
I'm not gonna bite the hand that feeds me, but so we have to be objective.
He does it all the time on the show. He gets at him.
Well, he has more equity than me.
Yeah, I mean, they do put the what do they call it? The disclaimer on the board every time he says something
true.
crazy.
That is true.
I mean, maybe they'll put it for you if you say something.
Ring talk.
Ring talk worldwide. By the way, that Brian Martel is a good friend of ours. He's supposed to be on the show a couple of times, but scheduling, I guess he works a lot on the weekend. So eventually I'll get Brian on. He knows some fighters too. He's trying to get some fighters to come on as well. But hopefully Brian will be up. We're gonna get to that, Brian. We're gonna get to Ryan Garcia in a minute. We're gonna do our predictions. My other question about this fight before we kind of leave it in the back end, we kind of mentioned some of the 168 pounders already. One guy we didn't mention is Christian Mabili, the French guy. He's 28 years old. He's like 25-0, 21 knockouts. I mean, he's another guy. He's another guy that's there at 168. I don't know if he'll be able to be, if they would match him up with Benavidez or if Benavidez would take that fight. But he's a solid guy, and that's and a dangerous fighter. I don't know if you guys know anything about this guy.
I don't know. I mean, when I hear about these guys and I look at their resume and I see that they haven't really fought anybody,
Mm-hmm.
I just get the feeling of a Zordo or McGear. They just padding these guys' resume to make them look good.
Yeah.
And then when they get in they get in the ring with these top guys, and
Thank you, Gabe.
It doesn't pan out. It doesn't make a good fight at all. Just like the fight we saw with what was the last guy that they just had in the ring, and he was supposed to be a good guy, and he ended up getting stopped. The guy, God damn, who did he just fight? I think it was.
You talking about the Matias? Subriel Matias and
the guy that Matias fought.
Yeah,
the guy that Matias fought.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to be a real tough guy. He was undefeated, had a lot of knockouts, and then he get in there and get stopped.
Yeah.
The man,
on the contrary, he quit.
He quit. But
the man quit.
He did quit.
Matias had something to do with it.
Yeah, he did. But he came to fight, and it was a good fight. I mean, the first 2 rounds, he led off on Matias a bunch of times, and I don't know if he hurt Matias. Matias is a little crazy the way he fights, but he was a very game fighter. So I mean, maybe this guy Christian, maybe he's a good fill-in fighter, a dangerous fighter, something like that. That's why I mentioned him because there's not many guys at 168. Cato Plant is another guy as well. So I wanted to mention him because he's got a nice record. He's in his 20s.
But I understand what you're saying, but I want to see him in there with somebody like a Caleb Plant or somebody like a John Ryder, somebody that we know, because a lot of these guys, when you look at their resume, there are a bunch of fighters that you don't know. You never heard of them, never seen them fight before, and yeah, he got knockouts over them, or he beat him in a unanimous decision, but you don't know these guys. You gotta actually search and figure out who these fighters that they fight, that they fought, and when you find out that these guys is really nobodies, and then they get in the ring, you're like, man, this fight is boring as hell. He gonna get stopped.
I think Ryder for Benavidez is a good fight too, a good tune-up.
Mm-hmm.
Ryder showed that he deserves another payday. The way he hung in there with Canelo, he's a tough out.
Yeah,
he got
that fight with Canelo because he beat Danny Jacobs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's at least you got to keep Benavidez busy if Canelo's going to take something in between. So it's a 3-fight deal that he signed, right?
3-fight deal. So this will be the second fight.
2 left.
So and the thing is who it's going to be. And
my question is, does it dictate to where PBC falls? Who picks it up? I mean, there's been rumors, for a few weeks about Amazon Prime picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see anything official. So I wonder if that happens. I mean, if anyone's got enough money to throw around, it's Amazon.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing, they giving them their first budget is $90 million. So they got a $90 million budget to make these fights happen for 2024. So I don't know if that's for the first half of 2024 or if that's for the whole year of 2024. But they got a $90 million budget, and so I mean we're gonna see. I mean, because Amazon Prime, the Prime portion of it, which the PBC will be fighting on, they have, I believe, I want to say they got $126 million in their budget. I think if I'm not mistaken, because I just did a video on it, I think it's 126 million, or it might be 126 billion. It's one of the two.
You're talking about Amazon's budget?
Yeah, Amazon. As a matter of fact, it's 126 billion.
It's got to be billions. They got
126 billion. Amazon itself, has $1.52 trillion as a company, but the Amazon Prime portion that PBC will be fighting on has $126 billion budget. So they definitely got enough money. They got more money than any other platform out there.
Crazy. Yeah.
Well, they paid $1 billion for Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
$1 billion. That's nuts.
And they end up getting the NFL ticket as well.
Real quick, D-Free, look at the screen real quick. This guy A1 is a clown.
And I think 2022 is, according to Variety magazine, Amazon content spending in 2022 was $16.6 billion. So,
wow.
So you figure, a year later, it's only going to go up. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dominoes in place, but, I don't think it's anything new for fight fans, right? We sit and wait. We're the most faithful fan base there is.
Yeah, we're the most patient and most abused in sports is the boxing fan, because we get abused. We don't always get to see the fights that we want to see. We get slapped in the face. I mean, this Canelo situation is kind of a slap in the face. He's a guy that's one of the faces of boxing right now, right?
Well,
I don't really know who the face is, but he's one of the guys that people want to see, and he's not fighting the guys that we want him to see him fight against. So
yeah.
So that we're like we're in a bad marriage with boxing right now as fans.
But and in reality, the Benavidez fight is the only fight in reality that's left that people are actually demanding. Because if he fights Benavidez, he could fight Logan Paul after this, or Jake Paul. I don't care. I mean, he's done what he needs to do. He doesn't have to, do anything else. I think
if Canelo Alvarez fights David Benavidez, there's really nothing left for him to do.
Yeah, unless the only outside shot is Crawford beats Spence again, and then
he not fighting
Crawford,
Crawford.
but that would have to be at a catch weight. Like, it makes no sense to make Crawford go up to 168. Like,
no, even if Crawford goes up to 168 and they make that fight, from what we saw with the Jermall Charlo, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of fans to buy into it.
Yeah, that's true too. But that's the only realistic option I think that's out there after if he beats Benavidez. Unless it's a rematch with Benavidez, maybe, like he could fight Benavidez as a close fight. People cry rematch, and then that'll be the third fight is Benavidez again. And that's your 3-fight deal. But him fighting Munguia, I don't know. Or even Charlo. I don't want to see it.
If you think about it, Canelo Alvarez versus Bud Crawford is not really a big money fight. It's a big money fight for Crawford, but it ain't a real big money fight for Canelo. I mean, if we look at it outside of the Earl Spence fight, what has Crawford done?
Yeah,
as far as a draw. Yeah, he hasn't done anything as a draw. I think his biggest pay-per-view was 150,000 pay-per-view buys outside of Earl Spence.
Yeah, I mean, it's a reflection of where American boxing is. I mean, it's not. It's not the days of Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, Terence Crawford is a great fighter, but he doesn't have that crossover cachet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just like Canelo already said it. He doesn't get anything out of it. If he goes out there and he fight Crawford and he beat him, they're gonna say he was too small. If he lose to him, they're gonna say you lost to a small guy.
Yeah.
So he don't really get anything out of it. It's a lose-lose situation for him.
Yeah. And unless he wants to avenge the Bivol fight, which he was, the only fight outside of Mayweather that he was really dominated, and
yeah,
that's the only thing left. And I think he will, just because I think he's a prideful guy,
That's what I think Canelo should do. I think he should fight David Benavidez, and then go ahead and hang him up and do exhibition if he still want to fight. He can make a lot of money doing exhibition.
He probably. I mean, after that, he can do whatever he wants, and he'll still make some decent money. He's already made good money. This contract he has right now was a good contract for him. He's going to make money. I don't know, what was it, I think it's 100.
I think it's like 100 and something million.
130 or something like that. I think.
Yeah, it's like 100 and something million.
I mean,
for 3 fights.
It's good. I mean, fighters are not making that money right now.
Yeah, he's getting close to like $40-50 million a fight.
Yeah.
That is actually, it's funny you mentioned money. I think in the coming weeks we should have someone has some insight as far as contract negotiations, because that's one thing that's floating out in the air, that the structure of boxer payouts is going to have to change. Now with Showtime going out of business, and they've always said, the people that are outside of that PBC circle, that PBC was always overpaying for these fights, and that kind of led to their demise.
Yeah.
It'd be good to get somebody that has that inside knowledge of contracts and things like that.
Yeah. What about you had a guy you thought of from Yahoo?
Yeah, there's people we could reach out to. I think that's something that'd be good to have a good panel discussion.
Okay.
I don't know what the gag order is as far as like Showtime talent.
Mm-hmm.
We had Raul Marquez on. I think he'd be a good guest.
Maybe this week I'll try to reach out to him.
Showtime has one more show, right, D?
No. I think this was the last one.
So the David Morrell's supposed to fight in the 16th or something? Is that legit?
Yeah, he's fighting on the 16th.
That's not Showtime?
It might be, but it's not a pay-per-view show.
No, definitely not. No, I know
it might be on Showtime, but it's not going to be pay-per-view.
Okay.
So far as actual big fights on Showtime, like if the David Morrell shows on Showtime, that will be the last show.
Okay.
Because they already scrapped the Floyd Mayweather fight.
Yeah. All right. Real quick before we move on to the undercard, who's going to go, that was the next bullet point. Let me just a shout out to all you guys that are coming in the chat. I see you. I appreciate the love and support. We appreciate the love and support. Thank you, everybody, coming through, especially from Joy's channel. Thank you, Joy, for sending them here. I appreciate it. Jamie, thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. I'll say a few names, real quick. Rodney, Ashley, Zone TV, CJ, Cat Lover, Baby. I appreciate all of you. Really appreciate you guys. My man William Old School says he's agreeing with D Free, saying exactly what I've been saying. D Free, Canelo gets nothing out of fighting Bud. So, all right. The undercard. We got two other fights notable on the undercard. Charlo and Jose Benavidez. I mean, we knew what Jose Benavidez was all about. The question is, and I guess the comment is how did Charlo look? Like, was that, and D Free, I know what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna start off with you. What do you think of Charlo's performance?
For him coming off a 2.5-year layoff, going through his mental issues, going through his divorce, I think Charlo looked good.
Yeah.
He had some ring rust. You saw it early, and it was pretty much exactly how I called it. He was going to have ring rust early, and then once he settled down, you'll start to see Charlo start to pick off Jose Benavidez. And he almost stopped him, but I don't think Charlo realized that he had Jose hurt. Once he realized that he had him hurt, he was moving in to try to stop him, but the bell rung. So yeah. I don't. But as far as his performance, he looked good. He needs to work on his defense. He was taking way too many punches from Jose that he shouldn't have took. So he has to work on that. But
yeah,
I thought he looked good coming off a 2.5-year layoff and all of the personal issues that he's been going through.
Okay. A1, I did shout you out in the beginning, but shout out to my man A1 Hoop Zone. I did shout you out earlier. He says, "Wait, Thomas, take that message down on the screen." LOL. He says, let me go before Sa gets to it. At first, and I still kind of feel the same. I thought it was an okay performance for Charlo. I mean, being off 2.5 years, he looked like he had some good muscle memory. Like, he that was there. At first, I thought he was getting hit a little bit too much by Benavidez, but I looked up the stats. I had to do some research on the copy box, and Benavidez only landed 86 of 446 punches. So I guess most of those punches that Benavidez threw were blocked. That's 19%. Now that we're on it, let me go into Charlo. He landed 243 of 613. That's pretty good. That's 40%. So, his power shots was there, 127 to 279. I think Jose was a good opponent for Charlo to come back to. So, yeah. And he looked good. I mean, he looked good for the opponent he faced, and he got the rounds in. So maybe, he said he only trained for like 3 weeks. I guess it kind of showed, but the muscle memory was there, which is kind of a good sign as well. But we're not going to tell until I guess we see another fight. And I think he needs another tune-up before he actually thinks about fighting a Canelo, who's Canelo's going to try to get that fight, right? Because he looks like easy pickings or anybody major. But, I mean, or fight Plant, because people are intrigued to see him fight Caleb Plant. So that's my thing on that. And then we'll go into Sock. Brian, real quick, says it was more of a mental fight for him after a year of mental health issues. I agree. So, I mean, for him to get back in the ring, and just get the rounds in, it was good for him. But I think he needs another one.
Yep.
Sock?
I mean, also, I mean, all right, mental health is something, it's not like a broken arm, right? We can't see it. We only could go by how a guy is behaving, his reactions and stuff. So after the fight, he gets emotional and he's crying, tearing up. I don't know if that's was it a cry of relief? Is it a cry of there's still issues there? So we don't know. I mean, and he's a guy that hasn't really been active for 4 years, 5 years, since 2008. In 2018, he fought twice. Then in 19 fought once, and then 20 fought once. So, is boxing a priority for him, or is it just a way for him to pay bills? So he may not be ready. Maybe he cash out. I mean, if he gets the Canelo fight, you could tell basically he's just, It's a retirement fight. You know, it would be the biggest of his career. But like you said, he definitely needs some. He's he has more than ring rust. I think he needs to show that he's still a world class fighter.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I wonder if he wants to go back to 60. You know, I mean, I think you know the champion at 60. What's this guy's name? The Dominican guy,
Uh, oh, Adamas.
Adamas. You know, I think that's a very winnable fight. You know, but you know he came in overweight with his catch weight, so
Yeah, the catch weight was 163. He came in at 166.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the fight that I want to see is him and Plant. I mean, that, to me, it has such a great storyline.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in that parking lot that day, you know, and Plant needs it, you know, more than Charlo in reality.
Yeah.
But Charlo needs it for his manhood, you know. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
you know,
totally agree. You know, and it's funny because Charlo was always kind of considered the better defensive fighter of the two Charlo twins, and maybe the better kind of, you know, the better fighter overall. And
mhm.
I don't know if we will get to see that again because obviously, I mean, based on the numbers, but against the guy that he fought, the defense is there, right? 86 of 446. But you know, as he steps up in competition, takes another tune up. Let's see if you know, like I said, the muscle memory looked there. Like he knew what to do. Like it was there. You know, the shots looked a little crisp at times. You know, so now after the tune up and training, you know, the next fight, let's see how he looks. You know, as far as defense, because that's what he was known for. Because the other Charlo got hit a lot. In my opinion, he got hit a lot. You know, Castano and even before that. I mean, but this Charlo is better defensively. So let's see what happens. Let's see, you know, if the mental issues is better, if he's, you know, if he's straight in the head and you know, he's focused on boxing now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I mean, I really was a fan when he knocked out J Rock. You know,
Yeah,
what he did. You know, I was like, wow, like these guys are serious. You know, but that was 6, 7 years ago.
yeah. And J Rock was at the top of his game too. And that was a good. Those first two rounds was great. You know,
Hmm.
they were catching each other's punches and stuff. Like, you know, the block. You know, it was good. And then he caught him. You know,
Yeah.
and
That
then
was that was
J
that
Rock
was
hasn't been the same since that fight.
yeah, that was J Rock coming off the Jerry Hurd win.
Yeah,
So J Rock was at the top of his game at that point, and then right after that fight, J Rock dropped to the bottom of his game.
yeah. And then he started getting touched and getting, you know, knocked down and knocked out. Um, but he just got caught in that fight with Charlo. That you know, because they were throwing some good shots. I mean, those first two rounds are some of the best rounds I've seen. Like those first two rounds, and then eventually he just got caught. You know, it was a good skill fight. But let's see what happens.
Yeah.
The other undercard fight we kind of briefly spoke about it. We'll close out with that. Um, let's close out with this. I mean, we already spoke about it. Subriel Matias. Where does he go from there? Who do you guys want to see him with? And are you really impressed with him? And is he the real deal? I mean, I'll start with you, Sock, because I know how you are with the Puerto Rican fighters sometimes. I know we had you with the picture with Trinidad, but you be funny with the Puerto Rican fighters. So I'll start with you.
That's not true. Whatever narrative you guys are trying to spin, you know,
Cotto, you didn't like Cotto.
a lot of people didn't like Cotto. Cotto, on a personal level, was not a likable guy.
He wasn't.
He was a dry personality.
Yeah.
Miguel Cotto was a very honest fighter. You know, he always gave a great effort. Um, you know, and Miguel Cotto is missed in New York. Put it that way. You know,
Yeah.
the Puerto Rican fan base in New York is starving for a champion. So much that they gravitated to Amanda Serrano. That was like, and Puerto
Yeah.
Rican boxing is at the lowest it's been ever, I
Mhm.
think. You know,
Yeah.
so Matias does he you know he's the guy that they're looking at now, and he's a good TV fighter. I think him. What I would like to see in the perfect world, I think him and Rolly is a good fight. You know,
So
I think
Brian just wrote that. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay. I think it's a makeable fight, right? I think he probably stops Rolly, but Rolly's always entertaining.
Yeah.
You know?
The press conference is going to be entertaining. At
Yeah,
least the build up.
or him and Teofimo Lopez. You know, I mean,
That's what I want to
stylistically,
see.
that's a
Because I'm selfish because we want to see it here in the Garden, right? Because we know
it
that
makes
fight will
sense.
sell and it'll be packed. I mean,
It
Subriel
would make sense.
Matias and Teofimo Lopez in the Garden, the big house, not the theater. I think it sells out. I think it sells out. Now, maybe not in March, but if they did that fight in June, right before the Puerto Rican parade, like when Trinidad used to fight and when Cotto used to fight, that second, I believe the second Sunday of June is the Puerto Rican parade, something like that. If they make that fight the Saturday before, that fight sells out.
Right.
That's a big fight. And I think it's a pay-per-view fight too. It's a unification.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great TV fighter, and he's competitive against anybody at 140. There's anybody that could punch is always in a fight. That's why I've always been enamored with punchers. You know, that's that eraser. That's that trump card. You know, that's that bang out. What you got? That's that copy cool. You know, that's punching power. You know, that's what people. I am of the philosophy like Emmanuel Stewart and Freddie Roach. Every fight should end in a knockout. You know, that's your judges.
Matias gets hit though, and Rolly hits hard. 3-round fight. Someone is going to sleep. See, the thing with Matias, and you know, we watch a guy. I don't know if Saki ever watch. I know D3. We watch a guy here on YouTube, really good content creator, Gano Loco Sports. He knows most of the Puerto Rican fighters, if not all the Puerto Rican fighters, and he has them on the show. He knows Subriel Matias personally. He spoke about it. He's the one that spoke about it. I believe like last year, something like that. And he said this is just who Matias is. Like, and because me as a boxing fan was always worried about Matias's defense. But Gano has told me, and he has told his viewers, that that's just the way Matias is. Like, he likes to see what you got, and then he'll give you what he's got. So, I mean, it's not the best style in the world, but, you know, it's a lot of bravado to it. And he's, you know, if he's got the balls, and that's the way, if it works, it works. And, you know, some fighters are just like that. It's kind of like Mayorga. Mayorga was kind of like that, you know, so, but yeah, I don't think Rolly could mess with Matias. I think Matias stops him, and probably in 3 rounds, you know. But Rolly does hit hard, but Rolly's more of an awkward.
He's very awkward.
Yeah.
He's a physically strong guy.
Yeah.
You know, but he's a guy that was originally a lightweight, so either way he's going to be the smaller man.
Yeah.
You know, so I would definitely favor Matias.
D3, what do you think?
I want to see him unified with one of the guys, whether it's Regis or the winner of Regis and Devin, whether it's Tio. The thing is about the Rolly situation is Rolly's in recess, so his belt is actually up for grabs right now with Davey and the dude that Rolly just beat, the old man that Rolly beat.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so that fight is not going to. Yeah, that fight is not going to happen.
No.
Yeah, that fight is not going to happen because when Rolly comes back from recess, they have to fight Rolly in order for Rolly to either get his belt back or for them to win the belt outright. They have to fight Rolly. So that fight is not going to happen right away. But I would love to see him in there with Tio, and I would love to see him in there with the winner of Devin and Regis. The thing that I just, with his defense the way it is, that's the reason why he has one loss now, because he went in there to try to take that guy's shot and he got rocked. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he ultimately got stopped in that fight.
Who you talking about?
No, well, he lost to this Russian. You talking
about Matias? He avenged that loss.
Yeah, he avenged it, but
yeah.
I mean,
he didn't get stopped. No, it was a decision. What happened in that fight was that guy came in overweight, so they ended up fighting at a different weight. They fought at a catch weight. The guy came overweight, and then when they had the rematch, the guy came in overweight again, but not as much as the first fight. The first fight, the guy came in overweight, and Matias still took the fight, and they changed to a catch fight, and then he eventually lost that fight by decision. But no, he didn't get stopped. Yeah,
I know he got rocked in that fight.
Yeah, he did get rocked in that fight. Yeah.
Yeah,
but he avenged the fight, and he won the fight. But the guy came overweight, and they changed the weight. I don't know what they changed it. It was a catch weight after that, and he shouldn't have took the fight. But
Yeah,
I think that's what happened in that situation.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if he can take a big shot from like a Regis Prograis or a Tio, because more so Tio, because Tio is not going to stand in front of him. Tio got good footwork.
Yeah.
Tio's going to move around the ring. He's not going to stand in front of him. The one thing that I do know is at some point he's going to catch Tio. And I don't know if Tio's going to be able to stand up to it.
Yeah.
Because we saw Tio get dropped by Kambosos.
Yeah.
Although it was somewhat of a flash knockdown, Tio was coming in and Kambosos caught him with a straight shot as he was coming in, but he still got dropped, nevertheless.
Got dropped by the Spanish guy, too.
Yeah, he got dropped.
Oh, Sandor Martin. That was more off balance, but he did get dropped, you know.
So, but I don't know if Matias, he got a decent chin. He got a decent chin. It's not granted, but it's decent.
Yeah.
Because he can take a shot. And a lot of times, a lot of those shots be on his guard. He'll block it with his guard.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he can take it. Like, he's going to be a tough out for anybody. He's going to be a tough out for anybody. Like, that's one of the reasons why I want to see him and Antuanne, because both of those guys, they just going to throw punches until somebody falls.
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna lead into that. I was gonna put up this comment by Brian. He says Matias is the Puerto Rican Jared Hurd, same style. William Osku says Matias is Duncan No Smoke. He's called out everybody. My man Donnie Cruz is in the building. What's good, Donnie? Taj for jump on here. What Taji for jump on here for your acknowledgement about boxing. I don't know what he's trying to say. Can you rephrase that? I don't know what he means. But yeah, D Free, I was gonna lead up to that. Your cousin, he is related. My man D Free's related to Gary Antuanne, and he's an up and coming. I wouldn't say more. He's not a prospect anymore. I think he's more of a contender now.
Yeah, he's a contender now.
And he's another fighter, just like Subriel. All his wins, I believe, are by knockout as well.
Yeah, every win is by knockout. And he called out Matias in his last interview. He said that's the fight that he's looking to make. He wants that fight. So I would love to see that fight, because both of those guys is going to be right there in each other's chest, and it's going to be a matter of who can take whose shot, or who can land the perfect shot to stop their opponent, because I think both of them is going to be right there in front of each other. Now, Antuanne has the ability to be able to box. He just doesn't do it all the time. He likes to be right in your chest and make you smother your punches, and that's the thing. Like, I see Matias, his inside game is not that great. He throws a lot of wide shots, and I think that might be a problem if he's fighting Antuanne, because Antuanne is going to be right in his chest.
Yeah.
And so those looping shots, Antuanne is going to come straight down the pike with the straight right, the straight left, the uppercuts. He's going to come straight down the pike. And Antuanne likes to go to the body a lot. He likes to go to the body a lot. And I don't know if Matias' body has ever been tested like that. I've never seen nobody go to his body. So I don't know how durable his body is, because I know Antuanne is definitely going to go to the body.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it's funny, speaking of that, I don't see Subriel going to the body enough, and I think he should.
No, you don't.
He should go to the body more. He's still trying to take those weird, awkward, like overhand rights, those short, short punches to the head.
I'm looking here. The only sanctioning body that has Gary Antuanne Russell ranked is the WBO. They have him at number 13, and the WBO is what Teofimo holds. I'm looking at Subriel Matias. There's definitely fighters out there.
Yeah. That's weird, because Gary Antuanne fought two named guys.
Yeah, he was ranked, but then they had the New York Athletic had suspended him. I still never found out why he was suspended, but they had suspended him
against the Dominican guy. Is he Dominican, Bellamy?
It's Cuban.
I'm not sure. It was right after he had the fight with Rancis.
That was his
last. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, we were at the fight. That's last August.
Yeah, after that fight, he had got suspended. I'm not sure why he got suspended. I never heard why he was suspended.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I missed. He's actually ranked 3 in the WBC.
I was about to say he was ranked in the WBC. He was ranked high in the WBC.
No, but he fought again. He fought again.
He just fought.
He beat somebody like in the first round or something like that, right?
Yeah, that was this year. That just happened a couple of months ago, like 2-3 months ago. Yeah.
Okay.
But up until that point, he didn't fight because he was suspended.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to find another fight for him, and he fought. I forgot the guy's name, but the guy was supposed to be a tough opponent. And he was supposed to be able to box with Antuanne, but Antuanne stopped him in the first round.
Yeah,
and
it was.
I don't even think it went 2 minutes. I think it was like a minute and some change. And
it was really short. I was like, it was crazy. I didn't expect it to go that much. But he's got two names in it. I mean, Rancis is a solid fighter. I mean, the way it ended was, I thought they stopped the fight too early. And then he stopped Postal. I mean, that's the name guy too.
Yeah, I mean, Rancis, a lightweight most of his career. But look, there are guys out there that I mean, a lot of young fighters. I mean, Richardson Hitchens,
another guy at 140.
He's ranked right here in the WBC. He's number 2. Antuanne Russell's 3. I mean, maybe they could, and Sandor Martin is the number 1 after Regis. So,
and he's supposed to fight soon too. Fight somebody.
Is he? Because he's ranked number 1. I think he's probably just going to wait it out.
I think he's got to fight. I don't know if it's sometime this month.
Or maybe a cupcake.
Somewhere in Spain. He's supposed to. I could have sworn I saw it. I looked it up. I think last week. I think I was looking that up.
Yeah. Richardson.
Old school says Regis versus Matias is the best fight at 140. Well, Regis got a tough fight coming up. So, but I agree. I think that's a real good fight too. Regis and Matias, because Regis doesn't really move as much either. So I think they'll be in a boxing trade.
I don't know if Regis want that fight because Matias been trying to get that
Matias has been trying to get that fight. But Regis, let's see what happens with him and Haney. I think we'll talk more about that next week, Regis and Haney.
Hitchens is ranked 4 in the IBF, and they have 1 and 2 vacant. And then Ergashev. The
IBF always have 1 and 2 vacant. They always do that. They always have the 1 and 2 vacant, and so you normally the number 3 is the actual number 1 because they have 1 and 2 vacant until they call it a mandatory.
So he's going to be number 1, Hitchens. He's going to be number 1 because Ergashev was 3. So with that loss, he's going to jump him.
And which one? Which ranking?
The IBF where Matias holds.
Where Matias is?
Yeah.
Wow. And he's not gonna trade. He's gonna box him. And that's a dangerous fight for Hitchens.
It is. No doubt about it.
The IBF always do that. I don't know why they do 1 and 2 because the number 1 is usually the mandatory. Whoever they call as the mandatory, they'll put that person as number 1. Or if somebody happens to get the IBF interim belt. When they get that interim belt, they put that person as number 1. But I don't know why they leave number 2 vacant as well. But they always do. That's the same situation that happened with Boots. He was ranked number 3 because 1 and 2 was vacant. And when he fought for the interim belt, he became number 1, which is the mandatory to Bud Crawford now. Well, not Bud Crawford anymore because now he has the belt because Bud Crawford was stripped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of good young fighters. I mean, Arnold Barboza is definitely a name. And then you probably have the biggest money man, depending on what happens tomorrow, is Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, and that's where he's going to go into that. So, real quick, Case Savoy was good. Yeah, that's the next
segue into that.
Yeah. Real quick, Ryan Martel says, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he trains in Mexico. Matias trains in Mexico, so that can explain his style. Does he train in Mexico? I think you might be right about that.
I don't know.
I got to look into that. Just going through it. Let's see. A1. Thomas, keep grinding, bro. I'm here to support Joe's side. If anything I can help with, let know. I appreciate you, A1. Thank you very much. Oh, man, A1 with the jokes. Donnie Cruz giving you a shout out.
Salute. Go Irish.
Donnie Cruz, I'm missing the game. I know Sock is looking at it. I know you're looking at the game. What's the score with Oregon and Washington? I'm in the kitchen.
Washington won. Washington won.
Oh, the game's over already.
Yeah, the game over. Washington won. The game ended probably about 5 minutes after you was on.
Wow.
I
was watching it, and they were down, and they were just overruling like a fumble, and then I think they called it a non-fumble to the quarterback going forward, and that was the last thing I saw. And Oregon had just taken the lead, like the possession before that.
Yeah, Washington won 34-31.
Wow.
It really surprised me. I thought Oregon was a better team, but
they were favored by 2 scores, right?
Yeah.
But the only win that Oregon had was against Washington. The only loss.
Washington beat Oregon.
Washington beat Oregon.
Yeah.
Washington beat Oregon. That's the only loss they had. And then they was favored against Washington tonight, and Washington beat them again.
Yeah.
Damn,
I guess it's not a fluke when you beat them twice. So
Washington was undefeated, but Washington beat Oregon. Yeah. So
they had been winning ugly, but
who did Oregon beat this year early? They beat a good school early. Texas, right? No, who did Oregon?
Yeah, they beat. I think it was Texas.
No, Texas lost to Oklahoma. Texas beat. Damn, who did Texas beat early in the year?
Texas beat Alabama early in the year.
Texas beat Bama early in the year. Who did Oregon beat?
Oregon didn't play a lot of ranked teams. They had
only because the Pac-10 within itself was good. So Donnie says.
Utah at the time.
Quarterback in the playoffs. Okay, Utah. Yeah, the Pac-10 was pretty
Texas Tech.
They
beat Texas Tech.
Okay. Yeah, Pac-10 is pretty good. So I might be confusing with Texas against Alabama. That's probably what I'm confused with because Texas got a good win, and then they lost to Oklahoma, and then Alabama lost, but Alabama hasn't lost since the Texas game. So it's interesting. I mean, so now Washington is definitely in the playoff.
Washington in the playoff, and Ohio State is out.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that. Let's go right into Ryan. We kind of skipped, but yeah, I was curious as to what happened because I see you looking up Sock, and I'm like, damn, I missed it.
Yeah,
in this game.
Yeah,
but into Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia tomorrow's taking on I believe Oscar is his first name, Duarte. And
shit like that.
I didn't know it was a catch weight. Both guys came in over 140. Ryan came in at 143, and Duarte came in at 142. So I'm assuming it's some sort of catch weight.
That's why Tank Davis wanted a daggone rehydration cloth.
Well, I didn't hear about this. Is this some sneaky thing that they didn't tell us? Or they knew both of them knew they weren't going to make weight and they just agreed on something and then weighed in because that's weird.
Yeah, but
and it's a 12 round fight.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is, I tell people a lot of times, unless the belt is on the line, it's really not a major deal. Unless a guy just coming in way overweight, it's really not a major deal of a guy coming in overweight because there's no belt on the line. You just pay a fine to the fighter and y'all keep it moving. But if it's a belt on the line and you come overweight, if you have the belt, you lose the belt. If you don't have the belt, you don't win the belt if you win the fight.
But it's crazy.
The belt just goes vacant.
But both of them came in overweight. But so to me, it sounds like they had a catch weight because nobody went back to weigh in and they agreed. So I believe Ryan. Now I didn't watch the catch weight. I just saw what the weighs were, and it was 143, and Duarte was at 142 point something. So maybe. I mean, these guys are welterweights now. I don't know what's going on. Donnie, I thought Brian said something. Ryan looked like a monster to weigh in. I mean,
I was watching him work out. I think it was yesterday. It might have been the day before. That man, he been doing nothing but lifting weights all day. That man is straight up an action figure.
Wow.
That man is an action figure.
I wonder if that takes away from
I'm not gonna say he on nothing, but he definitely looked like he might be on some PEDs.
Now, another thing I didn't look, and I'm going to ask to see if y'all noticed. What you said?
As I said, I ain't gonna say he is.
Allegedly.
Now, did anybody notice? Because I didn't see it. Was Derek James there? He's training Ryan for this fight?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he was there, but he's definitely Ryan's trainer.
Okay,
I'm almost certain he was there. I didn't see the weigh-in, but I'm almost certain he was there.
Okay, I was just curious because Derek James is not going to be in Joshua's corner, and I think that was because he was still working with a fighter. So I assumed it was with Garcia. That's why he can't be with Joshua for Joshua's fight. He didn't work with him for the
Well,
this.
from what I heard, it was because I mean, it could be wrong. I think T told me is because was it T? I think it was T that told me that Derek James can't train overseas.
Okay, wow, all right.
Hmm.
But I was trying to figure out how is that true when Earl Spence fought Kell Brook overseas.
Yeah, and Joshua's last fight was overseas.
Yeah, so
So
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
It
understand.
might not have been T, but somebody told me it was. I'm thinking it was T because I was on his live stream today, and I heard it today. So I'm thinking it was him, but it might not have been him. It might have been somebody else. But I did hear somebody say that Derek James couldn't train overseas. That's why Joshua's not with him. It is only for one fight.
Yeah, and that's why I thought because they said one fight, I thought it was because he was already working with Ryan and he could have worked with both guys.
That very well could be what the reason is. It could be because Ryan got a fight coming up, and they supposed to be fighting 2 weeks later, so he couldn't train both of them for the fight, and that's very well what it could be.
He said Ryan looks big but can't take a punch, so won't matter for his career. I mean, he got knocked out. Yeah, stopped the last fight and he pretty much quit. And then the fight before, well, not the fight before, a couple fights before that, he got dropped by a guy that don't really bang, and that was Luke Campbell. So I don't know. I know we're talking about Ryan now, so let me just get into it. I mean, I'm hoping he does well. I mean, he was at the press conference. He seemed frustrated. He seemed more focused on De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins, and he just seems like
that's been the headline.
He seems like he just didn't want to be with Golden Boy. And I think, from my read of it, it's like it seems like Ryan Garcia's feelings is hurt.
Yes.
You would think that Oscar is a guy that he looked up to. It's a guy that he wants to be, right? And for Oscar to kind of maybe said some things or he feels that Oscar says some things, he's hurt. And he already has, and Oscar brought this up too after the press conference, is that Ryan already has a documented, or as we know, mental health issues. So, you put that into play, and the press conference, he went at Hopkins. I thought it was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. He got at Hopkins hard, and then he went back at De La Hoya. But it just seems like his feelings is hurt, and it's like he's not fighting for himself. He's fighting to kind of prove Oscar wrong, and I don't know if that's the right mentality against a guy like this tomorrow.
I think it's more so. Yeah, I mean his feelings could be hurt. I think he just want to get away from Oscar and Golden Boy because this fighter is a Golden Boy fighter as well. And from what Ryan's been saying, from the reports that I've been hearing, Ryan's saying he feel like he's being set up because all of them are pulling for this guy to beat Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
They're all pulling for the guy to beat, and I think it's because they know Ryan is leaving Golden Boy. I don't know when he's leaving Golden Boy, but his plans is to leave Golden Boy. So I'm not sure if it's going to be after this fight or if it's going to be after a couple of fights and he's gone. But that's his plans, and Oscar and Bernard believes that, and so they pulling for this guy to win because they don't want Ryan to leave them on a high note.
Yeah.
They want Ryan to be beaten twice before he leaves.
Which is crazy because that's their cash cow,
Right.
Brian says Ryan is going to stop Duarte. Yeah, I'm rooting for Ryan. And I believe he wins. I don't know if he stops Duarte. I think Ryan wins in a decision. I think I'm going to call Ryan winning a unanimous decision. I believe he drops Duarte at least once. That's going to be my prediction. I'm rooting for him, but we'll see. Sock?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like in the same boat. Why would they want to lose their cash cow? But I don't know what I'm actually trying to dig up what is the contractual status. How many fights does he have left under Golden Boy? Ryan Garcia is a star, right? He regardless of his resume, he's a star, and boxing needs someone like Ryan Garcia. Duarte is a tough fighter. But I think he's limited, and if Ryan is right, he should be able to win tomorrow. Um, and it, he went at Bernard, he went at Oscar. Those two kind of bit their tongue because in reality, I mean, come on, him going at Bernard Hopkins and Oscar's resume is stupid because Ryan, hasn't accomplished anything in his career other than just being, a very popular fighter on TikTok and Instagram, you know. So, but there is some bad blood. He had mentioned how they kind of abandoned him after the Tank fight. No one was there at that press conference. He's almost like the symbolism of. I hate to dump on the young on the youth, but of a soft generation that we're in. Like the hug. I need a hug. Mental health. I mean, it's like sack up, man. You know what I mean? Like you want to play in an adult world. You got to act like an adult.
Yeah.
And I thought that was out of line. The way he reacted yesterday, at that press conference. I think it was embarrassing to himself. I think he's, you're really taking a shot at Bernard Hopkins, really. Two Hall of Famers, and he needs to take care of business. If his contract is up after this fight, I think it would have been in the news already. He's probably tied for like another 1 or 2 more. Because I think if this was his last fight, that would probably be like the underlying headline going in.
That's a good point. Yeah, they probably would definitely mention that, unless they just somehow do some agreement and just kind of like separate.
Yeah, I know. Ryan supposedly had been taking Oscar to court to try to get out of his contract.
Try to get out of the right.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know how many fights he has left, but I know he's trying to leave.
Yeah.
It's weird because, the press conference after the Tank fight, I guess, it's noted that De La Hoya and Oscar and Bernard left them. But that could be also, and you think about a reflection of what Ryan was doing in the camp leading up to the fight. Because there was a lot of rumors that Tank had a spy or somebody. They knew of supposedly a rib injury that Ryan had, and
before
they knew these things. So like, and that could be a reflection off of that, or Ryan didn't take it too serious, or Ryan was talking too much to people that he shouldn't have been talking to. There might be stuff that we're not all getting. So this back and forth has to lead, and I think, if you think about it, it's funny, we like it, it's entertaining to us. But I think it goes all back to Ryan. I think it all falls on Ryan. It's Ryan, the discipline. It's the mental health issues that he had a few years ago. After the Luke Campbell fight. I think it reflects on him. Do you want to be a fighter or you don't want to be a fighter? Or you want to be a Twitter star, or or do you want to be a professional fighter and take it serious? I mean, I think it falls on him.
Yeah.
And I think this him getting a new coach again. Let's see if he takes it serious. This is his third trainer in 3 fights.
Yeah.
Right.
I do. Well, I kind of know where it all stemmed from, and it was more so the Tank Davis fight, because Bernard and Oscar knew that Ryan wasn't ready, and Ryan was the one that was pushing for the fight because they didn't want to make the fight, but Ryan was going against them to make the fight. He was like, I don't care, I want this fight. And so when Ryan got beat, they was like, pretty much, I told you so. And so that's why they didn't show up to the press conference, because they didn't want him in the fight. That was their cash cow. They wanted to keep feeding him to the public as a knockout artist, undefeated. He's chasing Tank Davis, but they didn't want to put him in there with Tank Davis. They didn't feel that he was ready yet. And we all knew that he wasn't ready to face Tank Davis yet, because we knew what type of fighter he was. So that's mainly where it stems from. And when they didn't show up to the press conference, it pretty much, Ryan was like, okay, y'all not gonna have my back. I just fought this fight, and y'all not gonna have my back. I just made all this money for the company, because Ryan made $30 million.
Yeah.
And
Right.
from the reports that I got, De La Hoya got 20% of that. So you got a pretty penny out of that deal. So Ryan was like, when Ryan saw that they didn't show up, he was like, man, I'm done with them. I'm out. And then Oscar never called him. I think it was like 2-3 weeks before Oscar called him.
And that's crazy, because that was the biggest fight of the year, pay-per-view wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was the biggest fight of the year.
That was the biggest
That's
fight
what I said.
pay-per-view
Ryan Garcia's a
wise.
star.
Yeah, that was the biggest fight pay-per-view wise for a while.
Yeah.
The
And then
last fight that did a million pay-per-views was Triple G and Canelo, the first.
Yeah. And I agree with that too, William. I mean, I got to change my stance a little bit. You got to blame Ryan, but at the end of the day, Oscar and Bernard are professionals. They were fighters. They're in the ring. They should have been there at the press conference. It mattered them or not. Show that we're still behind you in some sort. And as promoters, former fighters, they're kind of they're mentors as well, right? So I think you're right about that. I think they should have been there, and they should get criticized for not being there as well. Yeah. So it falls on all three, but they're older, more experienced. They've seen some, quote unquote, they've seen some shit, right? They should have been there and had his back, even if you want to call it like fake love, right? But yeah, I agree. They should have been there as well.
And promoters always know how to spin stuff. They could have, if they wanted to, they could have spun it a lot of ways. Ryan was hurt going into this fight. Ryan. Right. The cliche of 2023, Ryan dared to be great,
Right.
He took a fight. In reality, Ryan didn't need it. He made a lot of money up front, but Ryan was still making money. Even without tank. He didn't need to take that difficult of a fight, but he did it. They could have spun it that way, but I think that a third party needs to, get in there and make peace, because at the end of the day, the big picture is the bag.
Absolutely.
And Ryan Garcia has something that maybe he's not as talented as Shakur or as Devin Haney or as Teofimo, but he's a bigger star than all of them, and he's got the potential to be a bigger star than all three of them put together. Yeah,
and another thing is you got to remember, Ryan and Canelo are friends, and it could be something that's Canelo's telling Ryan as well about Golden Boy. Because
are they? Because Canelo was the one that kind of was the first guy to put him on blast for being lazy.
That was in the past. They made up since then. Okay. They made up since then because they've talked, and it could be something that Canelo was telling Ryan, because remember when Canelo left Golden Boy, he left on bad terms as well. So that could be a part of it as well.
Yeah, they did kind of make up from what I've just saw something about on Boxing Scene that Ryan has reached out to Canelo, or one of them reached out to each other, so they have been in talk.
And Ryan has said some said some stuff on Twitter. He had said after Canelo got beat by Bivol, so I guess it's recent,
But that's and that's true. But I think they've kind of reconciled. But a lot of fighters have done the same thing. Teal did the same thing. Teal said a lot of stuff about Canelo and Golovkin and him and his father. And then the first chance they get after, I think it was after the Caleb Plant fight where he went with all the belts.
Yeah.
And he took a picture of Canelo. I was like, you're just talking bad about Canelo, and now you're friends. So I guess this is what these fighters do now.
The youth.
The youth, right?
My cousin Vinny, Utes.
What you said? Utes. What's a Ute?
Yeah.
That classic. My cousin Vinny, with my man Eddie Munster.
Yes,
Eddie Munster was the judge.
That's right.
And my man. Speaking of that, let me just go back because it's Soc's birthday. I did. We were supposed to go and roast.
Deep dive there,
Eddie Munster and my man. Was it? What was his name? The Vinny. What was the character's name?
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. He's in Godfather, Gangster. My man Soc has a lot of.
He's an icon.
Yeah, Soc knows a lot of people, man. So don't fuck with Soc because my man Soc, he knew fucking Paulie Walnuts.
God, with the goddamn mustache, though.
Walnuts, man. So don't fuck with my man Soc, man. He knows some people in the streets. I know. Paulie Walnuts passed away. But
hold up, tell me Scott don't look like he about to be the next mayor of New York right there.
Yeah, so this is the birthday roast, so I forgot I had to go on and show some pictures of a man. So let me do another one real quick. Soc with his boy Joan Guzman. right?
Okay.
That was when
Now
Jermall was starting.
that's better. That looks more like Scott right there. That's better.
That's
better.
Joanne Guzman. That was your boy.
Still is.
And then Sock with his hero, Big Papi. I know that was a highlight for him right there with Big Papi, Sock.
That was a long time. Wow.
Yeah, Big Papi, and I already showed the Antonio Tarver one. I think that's it. Sock and Guzman. I got Tito, my man Tarver. The mustaches.
Mason Dixon.
Mason Dixon. I mean, there was a couple other pictures I could have taken. You know,
that Trinidad one was actually on the set of the Busta Rhymes Touch It video in Brooklyn, in Greenpoint.
Okay, you did take a picture with the model. I saw there was a model there. You took a picture. It was right next to it.
That's Tracy Morgan's wife.
Tracy. Okay.
Before his wife.
You ain't sent Scott his video that he did.
Oh, and then I don't know if you guys know this. My man Sock is an excellent dancer. We used to call him, Carlton back in the day. So we the birthday roast continues. I got one more. We gotta go before we go to football. I got one more.
That is hilarious.
Yo, and just in case y'all didn't know, here's the original video, and you tell me that it's not. They don't look alike. I'll leave it at that. But you tell me that's not a spitting image, real quick.
I'll tell you what.
Man, we're gonna continue.
I'm glad it's called TD.
Oh, my man, Pedro's up in here. What's good, Pedro? No, Pedro.
Mr. Golden.
Pedro's got to be rolling right now. Oh, oh man. Hold on. Hey, Thomas, that guy came through, bought the 2. Oh, nice case word. That's good, man. That's good. That's a good deal. For the Chipper Jones, right? Yeah, Chipper Jones. That's a pretty good deal. Paulie Walnuts. What does the sock say? Look like Ruben Diaz Sr. You do look like Ruben Diaz Sr. a little bit.
That's an inside joke.
I don't think you know who that is. He's a politician here in the Bronx.
Oh my God.
Pedro Rivera, Big Papi, hey yo. Oh, Pedro, come on, man. I'm not. My man Pedro's a clown, bro. Pedro's a fucking. But yeah, so let's continue real quick. I know he's joking, so we're gonna go into So that was the boxing segment. We're gonna go into football. You know how we do here. We do our picks. Let's go over last week. Last week everybody did fairly good. Everybody went 2-1 with our football picks. I'm not gonna brag, but I've been pretty hot with my picks ever since a few weeks ago, and I wanted to say that because Pedro's here, because the last time Pedro was here, I was in last place. And honestly, guys, it's not about first, second, or third, or last. It's all about us trying to get it right. So like whoever's taking our picks is winning money on these picks. So I could care less, but I'm just happy that I've been on fire and I'm able to produce some winners. But let's go over real quick. D Free went 2-1. He took Baltimore Ravens -3.5. They won by 10. He took Houston +1.5. They lost outright to the Jacksonvilles. And I believe he took Denver -1.5, and Denver covered. Denver's been on a roll lately. I believe they won 5 in a row. So he went 2-1. His record, he took a week off. He's 15-17-1. He's been on a little bad streak, but he picked it up this week, 2-1. Sock went 2-1. He took the Lions on Thursday. The Thanksgiving games didn't do good for anybody, especially me. We'll get to me in a minute. Detroit -7.5. They lost outright to the Packers, but Sock did take the Colts -2.5 and the Steelers -1.5. That brings Sock's record now to 21-15. Not too shabby. It's pretty good. That's a winning record, and that's plus money if anybody knows. And then there's me. I had a bad game on Thursday as well. And we're not talking about the Seattle Seahawks. We're talking about I took the Commanders last Thanksgiving and +13.5. It was competitive. the first half, and then the Cowboys kind of ran away with it. But I did take the Titans -3.5 and the Jaguars -1.5. I went 2-1, bringing my record to 21-13 and 2 ties. So me and Sock both have 21 wins, but I have less losses, so I got a little bit more of a profit. If you're taking bets, let's say he was facing $100 a bet, if you go by that method, I'm up a little bit more than Sock. Thursdays have not been good to me the last 2 Thursdays. Thanksgiving was not good, as my Seahawks have looked really, really bad. They got beat up by San Francisco. They did show a spurt in the third quarter. They could not capitalize. Gino frustrates me, and he's been frustrating me all year long. And then last night, I got a little bit of a tease. Although I thought the referees were really bad last night, they didn't let them play. They were bad for both sides, but the Cowboys definitely got the better of the calls. A whole entire drive by the Cowboys were all first downs by the referees, and there was some bogus calls. But at the end of the day, the Cowboys made the plays at the end, and Seattle didn't, and the Cowboys go on and win. I believe they haven't lost at home since last year, if I'm not mistaken. They have the longest home winning streak, if I'm not mistaken.
They finally got a win against a winning team.
And that was, and good point, D-Free. That was the first win for the Cowboys against a winning team, although I don't consider Seattle a winning team, who is now 6-6. It is what it is, but they've got a big game. I believe they play Philadelphia next week, and we'll talk about that more next week. We're going to do our picks, but let's go into the big game this week. And speaking of Philadelphia, Philadelphia is at home versus the, I guess, second best team right now. We'll see tomorrow who's number one against the San Francisco 49ers. Last week, Buffalo came into Philadelphia, and they gave Philadelphia a run for their money. In Philadelphia, they actually had, could have won that game. Philadelphia, to their credit, came back in a bad weather game, tied it, took it to overtime, and defeated the Buffalo Bills. Before we get into the picks, you guys want to speak anything about, the Eagles and Buffalo and the Eagles and the 49ers this weekend, which is obviously the game of the week. I don't think there's any other game we can actually even talk about. I think it's all about the Eagles and it's all about the Niners this weekend. You guys tell me what you guys think.
Listen, Philadelphia, we knew going into this year that Philadelphia was going to be one of the better teams. They're probably the favorite to represent the NFC. Some people like the 49ers, but they're legit, and at home, I don't think anyone's going to beat them, and just something about that home field is just tremendous. And it's funny because back in the day, the Eagles losing a playoff game at home was nothing, right? How many times did the Eagles get their heart broken in the late 90s at home and early 2000s? All the time. The Bucks
four straight NFC Championship games.
That's right. The Bucks went in there. The Panthers popped champagne over there. A lot of teams. But something different here at the Link. Jalen Hurts, he probably took the lead on the MVP, the way he played. And Tom, you're looking smarter every week with the Bills. I thought that Matt Milano injury was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get as much attention as I think it should have. I thought he was their best player. Now the thing with Von Miller, the wheels have fallen off. Has he been suspended or
I haven't heard anything. That's
I know he turned himself in.
Yeah.
So
I would imagine the NFL is gonna definitely.
Buffalo's a hot mess. Credit to Philadelphia, they came back and won. Josh Allen played great, but just Philadelphia's just a better team. Better team playing at home. And the matchup of the week, the 49ers, the road favorite.
Yeah.
-3,
Crazy.
People like some Purdy, I think Purdy is, I'm not going to say he's ass, but Brock Purdy, we're going to find out. We're going to find out on Sunday.
I think
Brock Purdy is.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be a telltale sign for Brock Purdy. I don't think he's that good. I think he's in a nice little system. I think he's okay. But tomorrow we're gonna definitely tell, and we're gonna see how good Purdy is. Now, mind you, we try to be fair in this show. Like, it's a sports talk show, but I'm gonna admit my hatred for teams and my hatred for players and whatever, because I'm gonna keep it as real as I can, and because it wouldn't be fun if I didn't. I hate the 49ers, right? And I hate the Giants too, because Pedro's in here talking shit. I see Pedro here laughing at me talking bad about the Seahawks. But they're the rival, and I don't like the, but I give them credit. You got a guy on their team, Christian McCaffrey, who I believe is a candidate for MVP. But yes, and D Free, you're gonna get a chance to speak in a minute. You did say you said Hurts was MVP by a long shot. Well, after last week's game, I guess you can say that, because he kind of took the lead. I'll just name a couple guys who I think are in the running behind Hurts. But yes, right now, Hurts is the clear MVP. D Free, once again, is right. Listen, when you're right, you're right. And D Free was right. D Free said Hurts, and I believe it's Hurts. Behind him, I still say McCaffrey is an MVP candidate. Brock Purdy is an MVP candidate. But you know who else is an MVP candidate? And yes, they got their first win against a winning team yesterday. But Dak Prescott's numbers, his last six games, are ridiculous. And I think he's in the running for MVP as well. And the Cowboys got some tough games coming up. Now they're going to play kind of the tough guy. I think they got Philly. I think they're going to play Miami a game. And there's another good team they play at the end of the year as well. So Dallas is going to get tested. So let's see how they do as well. But I think Dak is there. I think Dak is top 5 in the MVP running right now.
Yeah. A lot of people thought that Philly might end up losing that game because they had just came off a major win over Kansas City. They thought they might have been still floating too high and didn't get a chance to focus on this game. And they came out there to play. And right now, the 49ers are looking pretty, because now the Eagles are coming off of 2 high games, and they was pushed to the limit. The one thing that I will say, the 49ers has a better defense than the Bills. Their defense is better. They can get after the quarterback with just the 4 guys up front. They don't have to blitz the linebackers, and so those guys can sit in coverage. The thing is, the quarterback situation. Purdy, he's more of a game manager quarterback. He's not going to. Most of the time, he's not going to win you the game, and most of the time, he's not going to lose the game. He's going to manage the game. He'll put the team in good position to win the game, and then he'll make a mistake here and there, but he hasn't made a lot of big mistakes that cost his team the game. And that's the reason why they only got 3 losses, because he hasn't put his team in a situation where they're going to end up losing the game. So it's really going to come down to who's going to get the most stops. Which team could get their defense off the field? If the 49ers can get off the field and hold Philly to long third downs, I think they got a good chance of winning that game. If Philly is allowed to run the ball well and carve up the defense with the passing from Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, the 49ers is going to be in for a long night. Because I don't think that the 49ers can come back from a big deficit. Now, if they only down like a touchdown or 10 points, they probably can come back, because I think their defense can get enough stops where they can come back. But if they down, if the score is like 21-3, it might be curtains for the 49ers, because I don't know if Purdy is going to be able to bring them back from a big deficit like that. But it's going to come down to it's going to come down to which defense can give their offense more times to score points.
Yeah.
Because if the 49ers put their offense in short fields, a lot of short field, they have a better chance of winning that game.
Those are good points. I mean, I agree with that. I think if the Eagles jump up, big on the Niners, I don't think the Niners have that. I don't think Purdy can do that. I don't think Purdy can come back. Let me just read messages in the chat, because some people taking shots. K Savoy, man, you can't give Dallas credit for beating Seattle because they lost 2 of their last 3 before Dallas. No, I mean, but Seattle came to play yesterday. If you watch the game, you have to give Dallas credit. Now, the only thing bad about the game yesterday was that the refs took away from the rhythm of the game with all the penalties. And, obviously we're on the, me being a fan of the team on the losing end, of course I'm going to be upset and complain about the penalties, but it was legit. Anybody that watched the game knows that those penalties was BS. Now, and not only the penalties, but the flags they picked up and they were going to call and then they didn't call. There were a couple pass interferences they were ready to call, and then they said, no, there was no flag on the play. I said, are you kidding me? Then at the end of the second quarter, before the half, Seattle scored 3 touchdowns because the other 2 were bullshit calls. That was a touchdown catch by Njigba, and they called it a no catch. Then they scored another touchdown. They called a penalty, and then it was ridiculous. Then there was a play there was a clear face mask, and they didn't call it. And mind you, Seattle capitalized and caught a screen pass for like 30 yards after that. But come on, that was a clear face mask. Like, it changes the rhythm of the game with all these calls being,
you know what else I think hurt Seattle too? What else I think hurt Seattle was Brooks going down. Because when Brooks went down, that's when Dallas was able to run the ball.
And I'm glad you brought that up because when Brooks, he just went off. Oh, let me go. He pressed us. I'm glad you brought that up because when Brooks went down, then we had to rely on a guy who they traded for and who has a big mouth, who's a big hitter, and he gave up the winning score. Brooks would have been guarding Ferguson pretty much. Right. And when Ferguson went out, it was more Bush. Finally, I got to see Bush play from the Steelers. Bush comes in, and then they have Adams, who has been frustrating, who he yaps and yaps and yaps. And how do you give up that touchdown at the end? That effort was embarrassing. So Brooks going down was a big at the game too. So, and a big F you to Case Avoid because I know he's throwing shots at me. Real quick, Donnie says, sleeping on Lamar Jackson. His guys have been injured and stats up there. Lamar is also up there in the MVP as well. But I just don't think – I think Hurts is running away with it right now. But, Lamar is top 5 as well if you want to consider him as well. Case Avoid says the Niners are going to beat Philly's ass. And then Case Avoid also agrees. He says Lamar deserves it more. Donnie says Dak gets it if he finished the season the way he's been. I agree. I mean, his numbers has been insane the last 6 games. So if Dak finishes it, now mind you, like I said, we spoke about the first team they beat with a winning record. They're going to play some teams that are tough. Obviously, the Philly game it means a lot, right? So and even if they don't win the division, but beating Philly means that yes, we can beat Philly. I think that's what I'm talking about and how the game means.
I don't even if that finished the season the way he's been playing, and Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles don't lose any more games, Jalen Hurts is going to get it. He's going to get it.
I mean, there's still more games to play as far as stats, but look at I'm sure you did, but look at it again. The numbers are kind of sick. I mean, he's got like 3 or 4 touchdowns each week. CeeDee Lamb's number has been pretty insane too as well. He embarrassed Woolen last night. Looked like fucking Trey Flowers. It's just I don't even want to talk about Seattle anymore.
Yeah, he's throwing a lot of touchdowns, but you got to give it to the quarterback that got the best record. That man will end this if he doesn't lose another game, he will end the season at 16-1.
That is true.
Yeah,
I think that does hold weight. The last time a non-QB won the MVP was back in 2012, and that was Adrian Peterson. Since then, we got Mahomes was last year, Aaron Rodgers back-to-back after that. Lamar won it in 19. Mahomes won it in 18. Brady, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, and Peyton. So I think this game will do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think Jalen Hurts is the leader in the clubhouse. And I think if number 2, Lamar Jackson, and number 3 is McCaffrey. I think that's right now, those top 3. I think Tyreek Hill also. And I think he's probably the most important player on any team. I think he's a game changer. But this Sunday is going to dictate who gets it. Like you said, one loss. The team with only one loss, and it's crazy who they lost to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They lost to the Jets.
I mean, this wasn't the '85 Bears who lost to, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time in Dan Marino. I mean, this is Zach Wilson.
Yeah, but then you look at Dallas. They lost to Arizona.
Yeah. Well, we already know Dallas hasn't really beaten anybody good. So, and they've got some, loss. They lost. They got killed. They got beat up by San Francisco. That's a playoff team. San Francisco seems to own them. They did lose to Arizona, and I believe lost another team. And they've been in some close games that they lost.
They lost to Philly.
They lost to Philly. They could have lost to the Chargers. I thought the Chargers managed that game totally wrong, especially that last drive where it was like 3rd and 18 or 3rd and 20 or something, and they get a defensive holding. Like, I mean, how do you do that? The Chargers was playing well the whole game. I don't know what it was. It was 3rd and like forever, and they called a defensive holding an automatic first down. It was stupid the way the Chargers played defensively on that possession and that down. But yeah, the Chargers, I thought they blew that game. But yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, when you're hot, you're hot. You play the teams that's on your schedule, and you just do what you got to do. And last night, they beat a Seattle team. Yes, that's been struggling, but sometimes you need games like that. You need to get tested to see where you at. So, that's momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, I guess we could start and get into our picks. And I'm just curious to see who's going to be the guy that picks the San Francisco Philly game and pick the spread. Who's going to be the first one to do it? Being that D-Free missed a week and D-Free's down in third, I'm going to give him the option. He doesn't have to go first. I'm going to give you the option if you want to go first.
No, y'all could go first. Y'all got a better winning record than me.
All right, I'll give you the option. If you want it, you take it.
No, y'all got it.
Our job is all three of our jobs is to pick 3 games and 3 winners no matter what and pick the right side. And that's what we're trying to do. So, Sock, I'll give you the option. I'll pass it over to you. It's your birthday. So you could take second or you could pass it to me.
Salute.
So.
Okay.
Oh, I should bring it to the screen, right? Let's do it. Yeah, let's bring it. I think this would help if we brought it up to the screen. All right. If I have to maximize it, let me know.
Yeah, blow it up a little bit.
Can I blow it up a little bit? Stupid ass. Does that help? No? Let me see. Hold on.
I got the Chiefs as a -6 against the Packers. Is that
Hold on, let me try to see if I try another one.
Sunday
How's
night?
that?
That's better. That's better. Yeah, that's better.
It's like going to the eye doctor. 1, 2.
All right. Let me know if you want to go to the side. These are the first 3. It's only 12 games.
You know what? Am I going to be stubborn?
I'm going to move to the kitchen because my batteries are dying. Hold on. So you guys keep going. I'm going to just move and station in the living room real quick. Ay, Dios mío.
Let me know when I can go.
I'm coming. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Sock. You took a team?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs at -6 against the Packers. I picked against the Packers all year, and I'm not going to stop. I think the Chiefs.
So Chiefs
That's a good number.
-6.
Yes, I think they are a touchdown better than the Packers, who have been playing much better. I'm eating crow. They definitely are a better team than they were 3 or 4 weeks ago. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and they're going to smoke that Green Bay Pack on Sunday night.
Okay. D-Free, you want to go second? Or you want me to go second?
You can go ahead.
All right. Let's see what I like here. I saw one game earlier. Let me just look because I can't remember. Um, it's a tough week this week.
Yeah, it is.
I did note this game. I feel like, and I do this every week, and I lose every week with them. I'm gonna do it again. I really like this, and I think I said this on your show a couple of days ago, D Free. But I'm going with your team. I'm taking the 9.5 points. I'm taking the Commanders at home versus the Dolphins plus 9.5. I think the weather's not going to be all that as well. Which should slow up Miami's offense a little bit. I believe the running back is supposed to be back for Miami, but Washington's still kind of playing hard. I don't think they've tanked it, and I think they cover the spread. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but I'll take the 9.5 points. I'm going to take Washington plus 9.5.
Damn, I was going to take that one.
You was? Oh, okay, because I mentioned on your show that I like.
Go ahead.
What's up, Anthony Bolton? Anthony Bolton's in the building. He says, salute everybody. Happy birthday, Sock. Hello,
Thank
Thomas.
you.
How about them Cowboys? I figured that was coming. That's why I wanted to make sure I read it so I could eat more crow, because when my team loses and it's against a guy that I know and their team won, I got to give them the credit. So I got to bow down. Good job, Anthony. Congrats to your Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree with you. Washington probably lose the game, but the thing is, Ron Rivera took over the defensive calling for the team because he fired the defensive coordinator and the DB coach. He fired both of them, and there's rumors that Ron Rivera might be leaving at the end of the year. So I think he want to go out on a high note so he can get another coaching job somewhere else. So I think that was a good pick because I think they're going to play hard. But I'm going to go with –
Well, let me know if you need me to move the slides.
No, I'm right there. I'm going to go with this team because I think they play well and I think they're cover. I think they'll win outright. They're the favorite. And the team they're playing against, I don't know what's going on with them. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions -4.
Detroit Lions -4 on the road against the Saints. That's a good pick. The Lions, they had a kind of like a stinker on a short week versus the Packers. In a short week because it was they played on Thanksgiving and they were the first game, 12 o'clock game. So that's a short week, not in comparison to a Thursday night. But now they get a little bit extra time. They travel to New Orleans in a dome. So a dome team playing a dome team. I like it. Lions -4 against the Saints. You go again. You pick another team.
What is that spread? New England plus what?
New England plus 5.5.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers -5.5.
So he's taking the Chargers -5.5, and that will bring me now. It'll come back to me, and I'm see you guys in the chat. I'm gonna go over it. I'm also gonna note Case Savoy's picks, and I'm gonna write them down for Case Savoy because Case Savoy be taking bets too. So I'm also gonna note Case Savoy's picks, and I'll go to the chat in a minute after we do our picks. Now it's my pick. I am gonna go with. Let me just review this real quick. And I'm thinking about being that guy. I know I wanted to see who's going to be the first one to be that guy. But I'm not going to be that guy just yet. I'll let one of you do it unless it comes back to me. I'm going to take the Jaguars on Monday night.
Ooh,
-9.5 against the Bengals.
Woo!
9.5. Wow. Okay. There's another place that has them at 9.
Okay. Well, is that 9.5 or 8.5? I can't even see that.
8. I see 8.5.
It's 8.5. Oh, maybe I said that wrong. So maybe it's 8.5. Can I zoom it? I don't know how to zoom this stupid thing.
Yeah, that's 8.5.
It's 8.5. I'm sorry. All right, I'm blind. So, but I'm still taking the Jaguars. Obviously, if it's 9.5, I'll take them at 8.5. All right, Sock, you're up for 2 picks.
All right. So, if the Niners and the Eagles is the game of the week, there has to be a number 2, although a distant. 2 teams playing for their season, for their playoffs. Texans and the Broncos. Texans are -3 at home. Disappointed last week. I thought they were going to do better. Against the Jaguars, I think they're going to do better this week. Give me the Texans at -3 to beat the Broncos.
Let's ride.
That's right.
Good pick. Broncos have been on fire of late. I believe they won 5 in a row. Close games too. They've been battle tested. All right, you got a third pick now. Your third and final pick.
You know,
Let me know if I gotta move
since
the slide.
it was my birthday yesterday, and Sagittariuses are known for one quality, and that is loyalty. And the Colts have been good to me, so I'm sticking with my Colts and against the Titans, who I believe are playing out the string at 1. Give me the Colts on the road.
Okay, Colts -1.
Yes.
I'm gonna be that guy.
Okay.
I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm gonna tell you. I know the pick that I'm gonna make now, and being that guy, I feel like D Free is gonna pick the same game and go opposite of me, because I think D Free likes the Niners in this week. I could be wrong. D Free will talk next, but I'm taking the Eagles at home +3. I mean, it just seems like a layup. I know in the past we've always pointed out games like this. Like last week, I pointed out the Jacksonville favorite against the Texans at Houston when the Texans already beat them, and I was like, wait, something's not right. So I took the opposite of the gimme. I pointed out the Bills last week. The Bills were getting only 3 points at Philly. That ended in a push, and the Buffalo almost won that game. I liked Buffalo because it just looked too easy. This game, almost the same thing. Philly looks like the obvious pick. Getting 3 points at home, and you're the number 1 team in the NFC, maybe the number 1 team in the league, and you're getting points. I'm supposed to go the other way, but I feel like it's a trap, and I feel like the spread is set for the Niner fans because there's a lot of Niner fans all over the United States, and I feel like this is set up for the Niners to take it and their fans. So I'm going to do the opposite of what I've been doing, and I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles +3.
I do like the Niners, but I'm not picking them because I seen something even better for me to go 3-0. And go to the next slide.
Yes, sir.
And I am going with, it was a toss-up between 2 games. It was a toss-up between Arizona and Pittsburgh. But I think this game is even better. I'm going to take Tampa Bay over the Panthers.
Tampa Bay, and I believe, what's that, 5 points? Yep. Oh, there goes D Free.
That game is going to do a lower rating than Fury and Ngannou.
Tampa Bay -5 for D Free. So there we got it. I'll go over it. I'm gonna go to the chat. I'm gonna read Case Avoy. I'm gonna write Case Avoy's picks down. Case Avoy is pretty good at this too. He bets it over with Southern T on Southern T's channel, also TWT family. So Case Avoy is pretty solid. I'm gonna go over his picks, but let me go over ours. So Sock went with the Chiefs -6, the Texans -3, Colts -1. My boy D Free went with the Lions -4, the Chargers -5.5, and Tampa Bay -5. And after six picks of favorites, I went with the underdog +9.5 Washington. I went with a favorite in the Jags +8.5, and I went with an underdog Eagles +3. So pretty interesting picks all the way through. When you look at it, there's favorites. There's only a couple of underdogs taking the points. Let's see how it turns out. We've been pretty good on our picks last week. We're trying to make you guys some money. Maybe we take some bets and make ourselves some money as well. I want everybody to win. So,
I'm surprised.
Let me scroll up real quick. Let me just see real quick Case Avoy. Let me go up to where we started off. It was Anthony Bolton's comment. And then Case Avoy talked about Miami doesn't really play well away from Miami. It's a good point. He says good pick to D Free. I believe he was talking about the Lions pick. And Case Avoy is a Saints fan, by the way. I believe he's talking about the Lions pick.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, because he the Saints. He's a Saints fan. Anthony Bolton says, but for real, Geno and Dak are dangerous. That Thursday game of the year so far. I don't want to see them again. Well, Anthony, it was a good game. I think the refs messed up.
19 penalties, huh?
It was crazy. A lot of penalties that kind of messed up the middle of the game. But
10.
It was by far the best Thursday night game, by far. Usually Thursday night games are really bad.
Al Michaels got a good one. Finally.
Case Avoy likes the Browns +4.
I'm surprised no one picked that Steeler game.
I was about to. I was about to.
That 1 o'clock slot for the West Coast teams is normally like an automatic L.
Casavoy also likes the Texans -4, but I'm going to give him -3. So maybe his book might have it because we're all for DraftKings. DraftKings have it at 3. So Casavoy, I'm going to say Texans -3 for Casavoy, and he likes the Niners -3.
It's biting, like we say.
He's biting.
Yeah.
And
I was about to take that Arizona Pittsburgh game.
Wow. Well, Casavoy, I don't want Carolina to win because I'm still in the survivor pool, and I picked Tampa Bay. I was
going to pick the Steelers over Arizona. I just know Carolina is a worse team than Arizona, and Carolina is just horrible right now. They're horrible.
They're just a bad team. And speaking of survivor pool, like I picked Tampa Bay because I wanted to pick Pittsburgh at home versus Arizona, but Pittsburgh, if somehow I don't win the survivor pool this week and the other people survive, I'm going to take Pittsburgh next week against the Patriots. So because next week is an even tougher week, so I was planning ahead. So that's why I took Tampa Bay over Pittsburgh. So hopefully it works out.
That was a good strategy.
Yeah, hopefully it works out.
Can I introduce a segment?
Yes, sir. Because we got one more piece we're going to talk about, but go ahead. Impromptu.
I'm gonna name some teams, right? In honor of my man, what's his name? Gordon Ramsay. You're gonna tell me, are they cooked or not?
Okay.
Right? The Bills at 6-6. Tom.
In the beginning of the year, I predicted them not to make the playoffs, but realistically, I'm going to say not cooked.
Not cooked.
Not cooked yet.
D3, the Bills, are they cooked or not?
Nah.
Okay, I'm going to say cooked.
6-6, right?
Yep, Adrian Broner voice. Cooked.
Okay. Adrian Broner voice. Cooked. Okay.
Cincinnati Bengals, 5-6, no Joe Burrow.
Cooked.
Cooked.
I agree.
Case of voice says cooked.
There was one more on the docket.
Go ahead, say it. I'm waiting for it.
No. I think Dobbs' magic is over. He was kind of like the Linsanity.
The Linsanity. Wow, he took it to the Knicks.
In the NFL for a little bit.
Wow.
Vikings at 6-6. Cooked?
Not cooked.
You talking about the Vikings? You talking about the Vikings?
Yes.
Yeah, I say cooked.
I'm gonna say cooked.
All right.
I say not cooked. Case of voice says cooked.
Okay, that's it. It's just 3 teams. That's it.
I'm gonna put a team out there just to get it out the way.
Okay.
The Seattle Seahawks are now 6-6. 12 games, 5 games left. Cooked or not cooked?
I say not because I think Seattle is actually going to end up beating putting the Vikings out of the playoffs.
All right. Well, let's look at the Seahawks' remaining schedule.
Well, the next 2 weeks is at San Francisco and then at home against Philly. That's the next 2 weeks.
That's the next 2 weeks, but then you finish off kind of nice.
Yeah.
We have
Arizona,
Titans on the road.
Yeah.
Steelers go to your house.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers are frauds.
I do too.
But they're 7-4. It is what it is. And then you got the Cardinals. So let's say logic.
You go 9-8 like last year.
So the next 5, you guys go 3-2. Logic says
9-8. Last year we went 9-8, made the playoffs. But honestly, I'm gonna say cooked just because of the way Gino's been playing.
What's the Vikings? What's the Vikings schedule for the rest of the season?
I have to look at that. Let's see what the Vikings are.
I
figure they got to play a couple.
I can look it up. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna spit it. Audio. Open up your ears. All right. December the 16th, they play the Bengals.
They won that one.
They play the Lions the next week on the 24th on Christmas Eve. New Year's Eve, they play the Packers, and they finish with the Lions.
They're gonna lose at least 3, if not 4 of those games.
Wow.
I think they lose to the Lions, and I think they lose to the Lions twice. So I could see them 2-2. They play the Packers at home. Are they? I wonder if they flex out that game.
I think they're going to lose to the Packers. I think they're going to lose to the Packers, and they're going to lose both games to the Lions. They could lose one more after that.
I don't think they're going to flex any more game stock because they already did the flex. They already flexed a few games already.
Okay, so New Year's Eve, it will be the Packers and the Vikings.
They flexed. I believe they flexed the Seahawks and Eagles on Monday night, which is more interesting for Seattle at home. So Seattle usually plays well Monday night at home. So maybe Seattle upsets the Eagles. Now, I'm a Seahawks fan and I'm a little bit biased, but I'll be real. But Seattle has owned Philly the last, I want to say 5 games. So, I mean, it's totally different teams now, but I don't know.
The team that I started on the cook list, all right? The Bills' next game, these are the remaining games. Bills at the Chiefs on December the 10th. Then they play the Cowboys at home, but it's a 4:30 game.
Mm-hmm.
Bills at Chargers Sunday night. And it actually says Peacock for some reason. I don't know what's going on here.
Sunday night, Channel 4, NBC.
NBC.
So it's both. You can watch it either NBC or Peacock.
Then they get a cupcake with the Pats on New Year's Eve, and the Bills and the Dolphins to finish out the string on January 7th. Yeah,
you figure they got to go at least 4-1 to make it. They got to get 10 wins.
The Bisons are cooked.
I think the only game that they probably will lose for sure is probably against the Chiefs. I think they can beat Dallas.
You think they match up well against Dallas?
I actually think when that game come up, I might end up picking the Bills for that game. I might end up picking the Bills on our Pick'em show.
Well, if you go by last night, the Cowboys defense is not as good as what people thought they were.
That's 2 games in a row they gave up 300 yards.
Yeah,
we were the first team that they gave up 300 yards to, and now Seattle just got 300 yards on them.
Yeah.
So that's 2 games in a row they didn't gave up 300 yards.
Yeah, that's an interesting game, and and these are big games. This is big game. Like I said, this is big game for the Cowboys, playing teams that are competitive, more competitive too. So it's interesting weeks coming up. The matchups. I mean, we know who our clear playoff teams are. Obviously, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Eagles, the Niners. We know those 4 are definitely playoff teams, but the rest, I would say the Cowboys. I would put them in there as a definite playoff team as well.
So the Ravens right now are the number 1 seed at 9-3 in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they got a bye week this week.
The Jags are 8-3. Chiefs are 8-3. And the Dolphins are 8-3. I think the jury's still out with the Dolphins, like you said. The Dolphins really are a different team on the road, and also, of course, a little bit like Dallas. They haven't really beaten a good team.
Yeah.
But I think they have talent. And like I said, I'm a big Tyreek Hill fan. Now, they lost one of their best pass rushers, in Phillips, in that game versus the Jets. Which I always question. I mean, these teams are up by double digits. They still got their starters in the game.
They get their running back. The running back was playing really well for them, and they have 2 good running backs.
Right, and one of them got Mostert is.
Yeah,
I mean, he's probably one of the most underrated players in the league.
I believe he has the most touchdowns.
Yeah, and
by a skill player.
And 2 is
he's the lead. Yeah, I think he leads McCaffrey by 1 or 2. I could be wrong, but I believe Mostert is number 1 amongst skill players. Obviously, quarterbacks have more touchdowns.
Yeah.
January is Mahomes' time to shine.
It's funny. The AFC got weak overnight.
With the Bengals taking a hit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers,
But you got some interesting teams in the AFC, like, teams that have been hot, like Buffalo. I'm not Buffalo, sorry, but like Denver. The Colts is kind of like in the mix. Now they just lost their running back again.
That's why I circled that Houston, Denver. I mean, it doesn't have the same sex appeal as Philly and San Francisco, but it's definitely the second best game.
Yeah.
And the NFC, all roads lead through Philadelphia. I mean, it's not as big a game for Philly as it is for San Francisco.
But as far as the mentals, as far as like,
Yeah.
I beat you going into the playoffs, like, we
like,
just beat
and
you.
like D Free said, I mean, that Chase Young trade, they get pressure with that front four. And that front four mask a very suspect secondary.
Yes. I believe the secondary is garbage.
Yeah.
But you need time to throw the ball.
That's the rumor. Yeah.
That's the rumor, yeah.
You need time to throw the ball.
Let's go into our last because we're running pretty over our time. Was going to go into college football real quick. Obviously, the BCS rankings. We got some big games this weekend that's going to determine the top four. We already had one happen. I missed the end of it. Thank you very much. But Washington has definitely kind of clinched their playoff spot. They went in the ranking as a number 3 team, and I believe they may stay there unless Bama plays Georgia, I believe, right? Is it this weekend? Yeah. Unless Bama beats Georgia, then Georgia, I believe, will drop.
But I think you don't think Georgia could afford a loss?
I don't think so. I don't
think so.
So if Georgia loses, you got Michigan. I don't believe Michigan will lose to Iowa. That would be crazy. That would be nuts. I mean, I would love it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I would love it for Iowa, but let's be real.
What?
If Michigan and Washington are pretty much in, right? Mm-hmm. Bama and Georgia. If Bama beats Georgia, Bama doesn't get in?
Bama gets in, Georgia gets in, and the other team gets out.
I got a question, Tom.
Yes.
How can Bama jump Texas?
And how exactly? Because they lost. And then how does they? What if? Here's the thing. And I remember years ago when they first created BCS.
That shit already.
Yeah, the BCS when they first created it, they said when they picked the 4 teams that they were going to pick the best 4 teams as they were, not like off of like the record and stuff like so. And the reason I say this is because Florida State is without their quarterback. If Florida State wins, they're going to be in the. Are they still going to get put in the top 4 even without the quarterback because they're not the same team?
That's why I think Florida State gets kicked out and Alabama gets moved in because Alabama beats the number 1 team. They're automatically going to jump Alabama up.
And Florida State, out of all of them, has played the weakest schedule.
They definitely played the weakest
by far.
Yeah,
they're going to jump Alabama up.
But I think what the argument is going to be if Florida State was to win, who they play in the championship game?
Louisville.
And Louisville's good. If they was to beat Louisville without the quarterback, I think what the championship committee is going to do, even if Alabama doesn't win, right? Let's say Georgia wins. So you got Georgia, Michigan, and Washington. Now it comes down to Florida State and Texas, right? Do they put Florida State over Texas?
I think
if Florida State wins, they will.
I think Texas has more national pull.
I think so too, and I think maybe does the committee say, well, Florida State's a real good team, they had a good year, but they don't have their starting quarterback. They won't be able to compete with these 3 teams. Do they do that?
Wow.
I don't think
because that's what the committee was supposed to, go by when they first set it up. That was one of the things like they saying as the team was at that point in time.
When did Florida State lose their quarterback? When they lose their quarterback?
Now Florida State's only a 1.5 point favorite against Louisville.
They won the game without their quarterback last week, and it was a close game. They came back and won.
So my thing is, if that was the case, they would have put Texas over Florida State already.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's hard because they're undefeated, and they beat who they beat. They came back and beat North Carolina, I think it was. I know they definitely came back against Boston College. Boston College was winning the game. They came back against Clemson. I believe they won that game in overtime. And there was another game. They came back last week, and there was another game. I believe they were down and they came back one. So they've come from behind like 4 times, I believe. Donnie knows college football. Let's see. Yes, Florida State beat Louisville. He says yes. Florida State beats Louisville, who was a top 10 team. Florida State is in. Records matter for the committee. FSU would be undefeated. All right, I guess. And Donnie's pretty good with college.
But see, that's the reason why they're doing 12 teams next year and they getting rid of all these divisions, because there's been so much controversy of who should get in and who shouldn't. So that's the reason why they're doing 12 teams next year and they getting rid of the divisions. Especially
in a year like this year. This year, there's really no dominant team like there's been in the past.
Right. It wasn't no real dominant team this year, but it's still.
William Old School, thanks for coming through.
It's still, who should this team get in over that team? They played a weaker schedule. This team played a harder schedule. So you still have that, but it wasn't no straight out dominant team unless you want to say Georgia, but Georgia ain't been blowing everybody out like they.
No, they haven't. They haven't. The SEC's been weak this year. William Old School says, "Happy birthday, Sock." William Old School, I appreciate you coming through. Thank you. Hopefully the Saints, get you a win this week.
But that's the reason why they doing 12 teams, because with 12 teams, there ain't gonna be no argument. There's not gonna be no argument. You got the 12 top teams. They're gonna go. They pretty much gonna go record wise. They're gonna go by the 12 best records.
It's crazy because a lot of teams have been the best. The best conference has been the Pac-10, and there's at least 4 good schools in the Pac-10.
I'm really shocked about Oregon. I thought Oregon had the best team. I thought Oregon in the playoff was going to come out with the ring, but Washington just has their number.
And Washington's just been in close games, and they just know how to finish. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
So, Donnie says, "Good night, Randy Johnson." He called him old school Randy Johnson. Donnie's stupid. Don't make me show a picture of you, Donnie, up here with your big ass forehead.
Just because we're all Irish, well, at least I'm from the transfer portal, but I've been rocking with the Irish for about 20 years.
That means D Free. He used to rock with the Miami Hurricanes heavy. So now he's an Irish.
I fucks with you.
That was his team.
That was my squad, but. Who does Notre Dame get in the bowl? I have a feeling they see LSU. That's what I've been.
I mean that's got a lot of
It's got history.
The coach.
Yes. I think that's the money game. I think they see LSU on New Year's Day. That's money.
Donnie says the same thing. Wow, that's crazy.
Look at you.
What was Texas ranked?
Give me that Sean Kemp poke.
I think Texas was ranked number 5. By the way, Donnie is a Notre Dame fan as well. Donnie says LSU.
I'm looking at the score on ESPN, and they got Oregon ranked number 5.
Oh, so Oregon was 5 and Texas 6?
They got
Texas was 7.
Oh, really? Wow, what the hell?
Well, the AP. I'm sorry. Are you talking about the BCS?
I was just looking at their rankings, and like I said, Oregon was ranked number 5. Washington was ranked number 3. So
where was Texas then?
I don't know what Texas is ranked, because I'm just looking at the score from earlier. It was 31-34. I just see Oregon ranked number 5 and Washington ranked number 3.
Okay, Donnie says Oregon was 5, Texas 7. So who was 6? Alabama?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Wow. Okay. Ohio State is 6. Yeah, case of Ohio State. Okay. Yeah.
So that means Alabama can jump if they beat the number 1.
Yeah, probably not then. Yeah. Because Ohio State, they don't have no more games. Texas, does they have a game?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, who they play?
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. It's not a guarantee. LSU, I believe they're done. Who else? Oregon just played. Yeah, so that's it. I mean,
Yeah, so Alabama can get in and knock Florida State out if they beat Georgia.
If they beat Georgia and if Florida State loses, which they could lose to Louisville, it's going to be interesting. I mean, honestly, I'm going to keep it real with you guys, and I think you guys probably know what I mean, especially Sock. I really just want Iowa to beat Michigan, but I really want them, and it's not because of Coach Joe. It's because of Brett. So, yeah, Brett's on a high right now with the Eagles and fucking
the
and Michigan.
Now,
and you had to see it today. He was complaining that Michigan was ranked 2. He said Michigan should be ranked 1.
I told you Ohio State was going to lose to Michigan. I told you they was going to lose.
Yeah.
Now,
they can't beat Michigan for some strange reason. They can't beat Michigan. This is the 3rd year in a row they lost to Michigan.
If Bama wins and Texas wins, then Texas has the argument to be in because they be back. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But the thing is, what's the ranked team that Texas is playing against?
Texas is going against
Oklahoma State in the championship game.
Are
they ranked Oklahoma State? I think they ranked. Huh?
They're 18.
Yeah, they're ranked.
So Texas is playing against an 18th ranked team. Alabama will be beating the number 1 team.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been in college football when you lose.
Yeah.
You know, like tonight. Like if Oregon would have beat Washington, Oregon's in. Even despite Washington beating them earlier, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, so they beating a ranked team, but they ranked number 18.
And it's crazy that the way Bama won last week too. That was nuts.
Yeah.
It was like 4th and goal from like the 23.
Auburn, one of the all-time.
Unbelievable.
You know.
So what? Give me a prediction. Who wins, Bama or Georgia?
Bama's been playing really good lately.
Yeah, they've been finding a way to win.
The QBs
and Georgia ain't been. They ain't really been blowing people out. Like they had a couple of blowout wins, but most of their games been kind of close.
I'm going with Bama. Fuck it.
You think Bama wins?
I think Bama might win. I think
Bama's going to win.
I have a feeling Bama's going to win too.
Yeah, I think they might win because Georgia lost a lot of their starters to the draft. So that's another reason why they ain't been blowing out a lot of people. A lot of those big time players, they all went in the draft last year and they all gone.
Yeah. I mean, that's my political answer. My real answer is I want the team to win. I want the teams that I want to win are the teams that hopefully beat Michigan in the playoff. That's all I want. That's all I want. It's for Michigan
to
I
mean,
Michigan, what do you know?
Michigan don't they don't have their head coach. And I think did they lose their quarterback too?
Well, Michigan will have the head coach for the playoff.
No, but I'm saying, didn't they lose their quarterback?
No, the quarterback's good.
Oh, their quarterback is still there?
Yeah.
Donnie, keeping it 1,000.
Donnie says Georgia easy defense is good. Georgia easy defense is good where Bama isn't on offense. I hate Bama, but I hate Michigan more.
We can all replace Michigan with the word.
Donnie knows Brett too, D-Free. Just so you know.
We can all replace the word Michigan with Brett Ortiz.
Yeah, that's
one of NYPD's finest.
I gotta watch my mouth. I can't be saying that.
Hashtag fuck Brett, right?
I think Bama might beat Georgia though.
I have a feeling they are going to beat Georgia, but
I think I like the way that Bama's been playing.
You know, the main reason why I want Bama to beat Georgia is because of Dub Right Side.
Who's that? Oh, okay. He likes He likes
the Cowboys and he likes Georgia.
You know, it's crazy. BFTV likes the Eagles and Georgia, so he's another one that's been winning.
but BFTV also likes Seahawks.
He likes the Seahawks too. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's his 2 favorite teams: Eagles and the Seahawks.
Yeah, I feel like he likes Philly a little bit more because he's from the East Coast and he's been, in the AC area and stuff. But he does like the Seahawks. He did say that.
He's from New Jersey.
Yeah,
that's like me. I got 2 teams. I like Washington and I like Baltimore because they both my home teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I root for Washington when they playing against Baltimore. But when Washington not in the playoffs, I'm going for Baltimore all day.
And that's fair. It's hard for us to do it as New Yorkers. Like Yankee fans will never root for the Mets. So I mean, that's just what it is. And Jet fans don't root for Giant fans, and then Giant fans don't root for Jets. So.
And I mean, luckily, both of my teams are in separate divisions. Like Washington is in the NFC, and the Ravens are in the AFC. So it's like I want at sometime before I leave this earth, I want it to be a Beltway Super Bowl.
That'd be dope. Yeah, I mean, that was me. Like I like the Giants and I like the Seahawks, but once they went to the same conference, I couldn't have two teams in the same conference. So, he dropped off. There you go. There he goes. So we're gonna cut it and end it. Georgia's due a loss with a young quarterback. We'll keep it going, but Milroe from Bama is a first-time starter. Also, so I lean with the better defensive team. So he's going with Georgia.
There's something special happening in New York City for Baltimore.
The state championship?
Yes. The high school state championship will be decided on the grounds of Columbia University, Bakerfield Complex in Washington Heights. Now, I'm not an alumni, and neither are you. Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx will take on St. Francis of Hamburg, New York, which is like in that Buffalo area.
Yeah.
Rochester. I'm rooting for the Heisman. It's never
is this because this is the first time Hayes has been there in a minute, and that's because the Catholic schools were down. But is this just strictly Catholic school, or is this Catholic public schools? Okay.
Yeah,
it's not many Catholic schools left in the New York area. A lot of Catholic schools just went down. But I mean,
Hayes athletics is probably at its all-time high.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a great win against Iona Prep at Fordham University. Now Hamburg is 5-5, but Hamburg is one of those schools that plays all over. They
play other states.
Ohio. Like this is a big time program. Their left tackle is going to Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So this is not bullshit. Now the backup QB at Duke is a Cardinal Hayes graduate.
Okay.
And he's probably going to be a starter next year because the QB from Duke entered the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And he, might be a Golden Domer next year. From what I've been hearing. Donnie Brasco, can you please
confirm that?
Can you confirm that with me, sir? Donnie, the Duke QB, is he transferring to Notre Dame?
By the way, Donnie follows all these kids on Instagram, by the way. So. We used to fuck with Donnie. And
Donnie
why you can follow all these guys on Instagram? Like he's like, yo.
Donnie watches recess two-hand touch football. He's scouting for the Irish.
He's not writing back. I don't know where he might have broke
because we know we got him.
Mo Boxing, what's good, bro? It's he says panel, happy birthday. It was Sock's birthday. Thanks, Mo Boxing.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
thank you, Mo. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that
they're playing where in the Grand Concourse?
They're playing at Columbia. I would probably go to the game, but I'm going to be out of town.
Where is that? Where is
Columbia? They play over in the Heights, so off of Broadway.
Wow, and that's a home game for Cardinal Hayes.
Yeah. Pretty
because
much.
that's in the Bronx. I mean, not in the Bronx, but it's in the city.
It's in Uptown Manhattan.
Yeah. He said didn't hear. Baby woke up. Say it again, Sock. He asked about the backup quarterback. He was talking about the backup quarterback with Duke, but
the backup quarterback at Duke went to Cardinal Hayes, and he's going to probably be a starter next year because the starting QB hit the transfer portal, and rumor has it he's going to Notre Dame. So that would be a great fill-in for Hartman.
So I don't know if you got that, Donnie.
That kid could play.
Damn, I wish I'd have known the suit. I might have went to that game. Cardinal Hayes. I mean, obviously.
Ronald Pasquale is a Cardinal Hayes alum.
I know a bunch of Cardinal Hayes.
Oh, a bunch of Haysmen.
Yeah, and the known athlete from Hayes is Jermall Mashburn, right? Jermall Mashburn.
Yes, Jermall Mashburn went to
Jermall
Hayes.
Mashburn to me is the known guy from Cardinal Hayes. And then they had a lineman that played with the Steelers. The Puerto
Willie
Rican?
Colon.
Willie Colon was another
Willie
famous
Colon,
guy
Super Bowl champion.
Played with Cardinal Hayes.
They had a couple of guys. There was a guy that played for the Vikings, Stalin Colonet.
Okay.
So I just wanted to mention that because it's kind of special. There's never been a team from New York City that has won the state championship in New York. So go Hayes.
Go Hayes.
Yeah. That's
Johnny says, yeah, I saw him play versus. Yeah, we all saw him play Notre Dame. He is good, can run and throw. But the question is, do you know if he'd be going to Notre Dame next year in the portal?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm so glad Oregon lost today, he said, because Jaden Daniels will win the Heisman.
From LSU?
Probably. He's up there. I mean, their offense is crazy, LSU. I don't want Notre Dame to play them. But their defense is terrible.
There's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
Those two teams. Brian Kelly and
Cologne is cool people. His manager is my boy's manager.
You
talking about Cologne, the lineman?
Willie Cologne, yeah.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Willie before. I think he used to work for Barstool. He used to have I think is it Barstool or he had a morning show. Former Jet.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's it. I mean, you know what we didn't talk about? I mean, I don't know if we had time, but we didn't talk about SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. I mean, Survivor Series.
I mean, Survivor Series.
Can you end it with a little?
I did have a video set. I had one
read
for last week.
Can you end it with a little in living color, Tom?
A living color.
Yeah.
You talking about maybe? I had it all queued up for last week for CM Punk because that was the highlight. I mean, it was a good event, but that was the highlight that he came out. A lot of people didn't think he was coming.
Which one of y'all said CM Punk was coming out last week? I knew one of y'all had said.
No, I think Sock did mention the CM Punk come out, and I said I don't think, and I think I said I don't think so because they got Randy Orton back. But I guess Sock was right again. I didn't think he was coming out, and I think from our end, I think Coach Joe said that CM Punk was going to come out. Because Coach Joe in the chat, we was talking about it, and he said it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And he came out. So I think Coach Joe said that CM Punk was going to come out too. So, but yeah, that was the big mark out. So I had that ready for last Saturday night, but we didn't get to use it. I think we was on BVO and D Freeze joint last week. But yeah, he said, and Dottie hates CM Punk like I hate Michigan. Yeah, Punk is.
I just replaced Michigan with I hate Brett.
I hate Brett. Yo, everybody meets Brett and they hate Brett. The arrogant fucker.
Even D Free hates Brett.
Yeah, it should be epic because
one combo.
Huh? For one combo, D Free don't like Brett. You heard Donnie?
It's on site.
What? Yeah, D Free already could tell that Brett's an asshole. Yo, D Free, let me tell you something. You have not seen the arguments that we've had within our group. And Sock and Brett have had, like, you just met Brett once, and you got like a little argument with the Eagles at Washington. But Yankees, Red Sox, forget about it. Because Brett's a Yankee fan.
I still have arguments.
Brett and Sock, they go at it for years. They've been going at it crazy. But
nothing like Cowboys, Eagles.
Cowboys, Eagles is bad too, because we have a friend that's a Cowboys fan. So Malvin is a Cowboy fan, and but Brett, we always like to see Brett lose. I mean, I'll give you one quick story. The best was and Sock wasn't there. There's Giant fans that can't stand Brett, obviously Giants and Eagles, but we have a friend named Mike Santiago who Donnie knows. Donnie knows Mike Santiago, also wrestling mark. When Tampa Bay played the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, and it was Donovan McNabb, and the Eagles were struggling. The Eagles should have won that game. But the play calling was bad and everything, and we already know Tampa Bay won. But when the Eagles were driving and they were down one score, I don't know what the score was, and Mike was in that. It was me, Mike, and Yadiel. We was all in Brett's house, and I even bought an Eagle hat for that game to troll Brett because I was going to switch it to the Tampa Bay, and I didn't do it because Brett was pissed. But anyway, leading up to that, when the Eagles looked like they were going to score the go-ahead touchdown, and when they threw the pick to fucking Rondé Barber, and as Rondé Barber was at midfield, Mike Santiago got up and said, he went scream, I love it, fuck you, fuck the Eagle. And like he blasted Brett, and Brett kicked us out. He kicked us out of his house after that. But it's something like you had to be there, but Brett was pissed. And like me and Yadiel, we had this plan. We were gonna switch to the Tampa Bay, but we didn't even get a chance to do it because that's how mad Brett was. Like I was like, you know what, whatever, and then we just left. And but Mike didn't give a fuck. He was like, fuck the Eagles. I love it. I couldn't have waited till this day. Like he went nuts. And Brett was like, yo, guys, y'all guys gotta go. He kicked us out of his house. That was one of the most epic moments. And,
that was before social media. That would have gone viral.
Before Brett trolling history.
That would have gone viral on Instagram. That was before.
Because it was legit. Because now you see all these people break their TVs and shit. Like Brett didn't break his TV, but this was legit. This wasn't staged. He was legit pissed, and rightfully so, because Big Mike, that was the scumbag thing he did. And then he kicked us out the house.
I think that was before Brett was a cop. I think Brett would have had that. Brett would have had a tool on him.
He says, "Sock, is that a tablet or a laptop or a phone?" Donnie got jokes. He got jokes. Yeah, he's just fucking with you. But yeah, man, I'm gonna end it with that. Until next week, I don't think we'll come on tomorrow. Maybe we'll see I'll see what happens. I would like to get Brian on. Brian was on earlier, but he was probably from work. Because I know Brian, he knows a couple fighters in the city.
If Ryan gets knocked out, I think there's gonna be an emergency broadcast.
If Ryan gets knocked out, y'all see me like. Me and BBO might be live for it, but if he gets knocked out, we definitely gonna be live.
Emergency broadcast.
So how about this, Sock? If tomorrow night, D Free and BVO, we go on their joint tomorrow, and
Pause.
Yeah.
I'm on my camera and shit. Hey yo. Hey yo.
You know what, yo, Donnie? Have you seen this? Because he's Sock asked for it. So just for that, leave it short.
You ain't shit.
So I'll rephrase. We'll go on BVO's and D Free's channel tomorrow, and late night if they do the recap.
That's a bet.
Yeah, I can still stream it to mine if anything, but I'm fine with that. And then I'll see maybe if Brian could come on because I want Brian to get on because like I said, he knows a few fighters, and then it'd be good to get him on interview. Sock, we got a confirmation for next Friday, Ofacio.
Yeah, we're gonna have some guests on
next week. Okay.
That's about.
Yeah, so D Free, make sure you're here next Friday. We're probably gonna have Ofacio Falcone. I don't know who else.
When's is the Heisman next week?
I don't know. It's a good question.
The Heisman, is it next week or the following?
It might be next week because they're going to announce the teams probably. No, they announce the teams probably tomorrow on Sunday. So it's probably
it's probably going to be the following week.
Yeah, it's probably next week.
So and I think Army Navy is next week also.
Yeah, Army Navy. So okay. So yeah, that's the plan. Next week we got hopefully Alfacio comes on, so us three will be on. I'll talk to Judah, see if he wants to come on, and we'll do that interview, and then tomorrow we could do the recap with you guys. If Brian is available, I would like to, like I said, I like to get him on because he knows. I forgot the fighter's name, Andy. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank, but I'll let you know. I mentioned it before. Andy Dominguez. So he's a big prospect out here in New York. So and Brian knows him.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully we could get him. If not next week, the week after. But he did speak to him, and Andy did say yes because he said the screenshot with me. So it's just Brian's schedule's been crazy. So but yeah, it'd be good. This is just to talk all sports, not just boxing. But it's good to have some guests on and get the prospects while they're young. So when they become somebody, they'll be like, yo, we had them on the show, right? So
yep.
Yeah. So yeah. Donnie knows some people too. So Donnie, I reached out to
Tehran,
him. He wants
that's my
to.
guy.
Oh, Georgie Tehran. You talking about Tehran? Donnie, you
That's my
talking
guy.
about Georgie Tehran from the Bronx?
Yeah,
Yeah,
down
Georgie
Vegas.
Tehran used to fight. He's good friends with I believe he's good friends with Badu Jack. They were
Yeah,
Okay.
real
they're,
close.
they're
They're real
roommates.
good friends. Georgie Tehran and bro.
They used to
I
be
have
roommates.
Georgie on my Facebook. I
They
haven't
used to
seen
be
him since a
roommates.
poker game from years ago because he knows Ralphie.
He just
So
had a baby.
yeah, he just got
I mean, not him, his wife. Because then that would really be news.
yeah. Fucking. So yeah. Speak to Georgie, and he knows who I am too. Georgie knows me. I mean, maybe he knows you more, but he knows me, and he knows Ralphie too. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know he's a cousin. Okay, bet. So yeah, but I haven't seen Georgie since the poker game. Then this was years ago. So, but he's a real cool dude. I don't know if you remember, he fought Brandy Rios, and Brandy Rios beat him up. And then and then he fought
You had to go there.
and he fought the Canadian kid, which was a weird
Colombian.
fight because the Canadian kid never
Canadian
fought again.
Colombian who got sick and never fought again.
He never fought again. And in that fight, Georgie hit him with a big right that stumbled, and Georgie didn't capitalize. That was a weird ending. But that guy was a big prospect from Canada. So
I think he got like leukemia.
he did. Okay, wow, yeah.
Yeah, it was something.
I just know like he was a big prospect, and he never fought again. It was crazy
on Showtime.
So,
yeah.
But Georgie has some insight. He knows people. Like I said, he was real good friends with Badu Jack. So I don't know if he's still friends with him, but
he was his roommate.
Yeah. So yeah, but we're trying. We're trying to make this brand grow more than what it is, and not just this channel, but you guys and BVO. So
Yep.
So yeah, but we're getting there. We're getting there, slow and steady. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. Happy birthday again to Sock.
Happy birthday, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, D Free. Not to give myself the Barry Horowitz. I think it was a good program.
You know what? We haven't done the Barry Horowitz in a minute.
If those people that have not watched live, you catch the rebroadcast on YouTube while you're cleaning your house tomorrow. Getting the car wash. Tune in.
All right.
And Sock, I know Sock, my Dominican friend. If you didn't get to party,
I'll tell you first. D3, you been to DR? Have you been to the DR? Good, very good show, fellas. Good job. You already know.
D3, you heard what he said? I don't know if you heard it.
No, I didn't hear. What you say?
Have you ever been to the DR?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you gotta go.
Yeah.
You see, actually, I'm trying to. I'm making a trip for my birthday in January. It was either going to be Puerto Rico or it was between Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, and the DR.
So you don't know yet? Well, the advantage that DR has over the other countries is that the dollar stretches more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You going by yourself?
No, me and my wife.
Okay, so we'll talk off the air.
Yo, Donnie talking shit. He said, "Is that DC Young Fly?" Donnie always got jokes. Donnie, just for that, next week I'm gonna get a picture from you on Facebook, and I'm gonna have it up here too. The same way I just did Sock and his pictures. I'm gonna get you, Donnie, because Donnie got a lot of jokes. Donnie thinks he's like A1 with us. So
okay.
We'll post a picture.
Yo, D3, you coming? Yo, next year Navy plays Notre Dame at MetLife. You should come through.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely come up there for that. Watch Navy beat up. I mean, watch Notre Dame beat up on Navy. I'll definitely come for that. We beat up on Navy every year.
That's it, as we should.
It's definitely in MetLife. It wasn't in Baltimore, right?
Yeah,
I don't know why Brett said it was in Baltimore, because I know Navy does play in Baltimore sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
well, Army
Yeah.
Navy, I think this year, I think is at Baltimore because they alternate Philly and Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check that because I know Julius. Oh, I gotta send Julius the money. He bought the tickets, and
Yeah,
Brett's going too. So yeah, so like, and Donnie, I forgot to tell you. I think he bought a ticket. Did he get? No, Donnie, you were supposed to get your own ticket. I think. Because Julius, I don't know if you spoke to Julius, Donnie, but I think Julius bought tickets for us and I think it was Excel. But I gotta follow. I totally forgot. Shit. Thanks for mentioning it because I totally forgot about it. Because Julius was supposed to buy a ticket, we had to pay him back. Fuck. But D Free will let you know because by the time you get the tickets, they'll be much cheaper than what we probably paid for them. That's the same thing that happened when we went to Michigan. We bought the tickets, and Brett and his son, they bought the tickets for much cheaper, and they were not too far from us. So
okay,
they had a good time. They had a better time because they're Michigan fans. But,
yeah, that's about.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll talk. But I'm good from reminding because I totally forgot. I gotta send Julius the money. So, all right, guys, man. Appreciate you guys. This was pretty good.
Thank you.
We'll talk tomorrow, and shout out TWT, and shout out to you guys.